90,000 race fans are awaiting the signal for these cars to start their engines and begin 500 kilometers of racing here at Phoenix International. Most of those pairs of eyes will be trained on the two black cars at the top of the title chase. First, let's go to the point leader and Glenn Jarrett.
Well, Dale Earnhardt has clung tenaciously to the points lead since mid-May. They've done that through incredible consistency and preparation. But earlier this morning in inspection, they found some problems with the car. They had to correct them. It was the last car to get here on the grid, only arriving here just a few moments ago. Dale, is everything okay?
I hope so. I think it is. I trust the crew well, and they just found a small leak in the brake caliper that probably would have been okay, but yeah, some leakage in them. But they repaired that, and they were a little late getting in the inspection line, so they just took a little extra time. Make sure everything's ready.
Best of luck to you today. Ralph is standing by with his closest pursuer.
For Rusty Wallace, Phoenix has always been a roller coaster of emotions. Close for a win, but your best finish is a fifth year. What do you got to do to win here?
I just got to stay consistent. I've got a real good car. I had a good car last year, and this is a very important race for me. I need some points, and I've got to work hard for that, but drive smart, and I got a strong car. I think I'll be pleased with the results today.
Mike, the car's name is Midnight Rider, and it won earlier this year at Rockingham.
Thanks, Ralph, and hello, everybody. It's a little cool and cloudy here at Phoenix. Good day for making horsepower, bad day to get a suntan, but a great day for seeing some racing. You've met the two drivers that are atop the point standings. Dale Earnhardt, since Sears Point in May, has held tenaciously onto the point lead. He's increased it. He's dropped back. At Charlotte, he gained 10 points. Last week, he lost 10 to Rusty Wallace. But Wallace has been on an incredible roll. His 9 victories include 4 of the last 6 Winston Cup races. You've met the two drivers. Now let's look at another part of this chase for the championship with the car owners, Neil Bonnet and Buddy Baker.
Mike, I'm down here with a guy that's old hat for championships. He's won a lot of them. 9 IndyCar wins, 8 championship IndyCars. Roger, as the car owner, is saying, how do you have to participate with these guys to try to win this championship?
Well, I guess that I've sat in the pits many races and watched them go by the start-finish line. The opportunity here with NASCAR is to be able to get up in the spotters area, be on the radio, and I can watch the racetrack for Rusty, see what the car is doing, and you know when you're competitive and when you're not. And I just try to be part of that process. I'm not at every race. Don Miller handles it most of the time, but being part of that car and being there with Rusty is key for me. But again, being part of NASCAR has been a lot of fun. I think that the competitors are outstanding. The sport itself has grown. It's helping all motorsports, quite honestly. And again, it's something different. You know, when you haven't won somewhere, you know, that's the goal in racing. You want to go there and win.
Well, I'll tell you what, this guy's a top figure in IndyCar racing. He wants the championship in NASCAR. Let's go down to Buddy Baker.
Well, Neil, I'm down there with your old buddy Richard Childress, car owner for Dale Earnhardt Chevrolet. The other part of the points race. Richard, what in the world are you doing with the intensity that your race team must be going through with 2 races to go? What are you doing to ensure that you'll win the championship when it's all over with?
Well, buddy, you know, if you lay awake at night and think of things, and you do, you know, I guess my biggest concern would be a parts failure or something of that nature. I feel I've got the team. I know we got the driver. You know, our pit crew's doing a great job. I just think it's going to come down to which team don't have a failure and can really race out the end of the last 2 races here.
Well, while Wallace has been the hottest thing on the circuit of late, Earnhardt is clearly in the driver's seat. If he leaves Phoenix today with a 186-point lead, he is the champion. If Earnhardt wins and Rusty finishes 31st or worst, it's over. If Earnhardt leaves today with a 152-point or more lead, all he has to do is roll out on the pace lap at Atlanta to win the Winston Cup for 1993. Those are the contenders for the championship. Lots more stories to come. TNN Motorsports live exclusive coverage of the Slick 5500 is brought to you by Haviland Formula 3 Motor Oil. Add more life to your car. By cold filtered Miller Genuine Draft and Miller Genuine Draft Light, taking the country by storm. By Buick and your local Buick dealer. Remember Buick, the new symbol for quality in America. By Goodyear, #1 in tire. And by AC Delco. It's like buying time. Well, the cars and the teams are ready, and so are 90,000 plus race fans packed into this facility. We'll be right back to bring it to you live.
Robert, we're ready.
Okay. Got it warmed up?
Yeah.
Before a Robert Yates engine makes it to the track, it's torture tested right here.
Well, let's do it.
there's only one motor oil Yates relies on for complete protection. Haviland Formula 3. The same Haviland Formula 3 you can buy right off the shelf.
215 degrees, 8,700. That's race ready.
Haviland Formula 3 motor oil from Texaco.
It's running like a winner.
That'll get the job done.
Miller Genuine Draft Rusty Wallace stock car. See it. Hear it. Feel it. Catch it, if you can.
He packs heavy. She packs light. She wears silk. He wears wool. He's comfortable at 68 degrees. She prefers 72. Good thing they own a Buick Park Avenue with available dual-zone climate control. 72 for her, 68 for him. Too bad everything isn't as accommodating as Park Avenue. From Buick, the new symbol for quality in America.
In IndyCar racing, when it rains, we don't race on super speedways. But we're running this IndyCar on Goodyear Eagle GSC street radials to prove a point. What's the point? Outstanding wet traction. Eagle GSC, only from Goodyear.
For this guy, any deodorant will do, but these guys need Speed Stick, antiperspirant that gives 110%. And now Speed Stick deodorant has a powerful new formula to fight odor. Speed Stick, for movers and shakers, the #1, the only one.
Welcome back to Phoenix, Arizona in the Slick 5500 as Rusty Wallace gets ready to challenge Dale Earnhardt. Wallace's 9 wins has been his winningest ever, and last week at Rockingham was a textbook victory, as Mike Joy reports in a Haviland update.
Early in the race, rookie driver Loy Allen gets to find out firsthand just how solid the Rock really is. For a while, it looked like Ernie Irvan might run off and hide from the field as he had done at Charlotte. But Harry Gant, working the high groove as usual, worked his way to the front, and Jimmy Spencer was really fast on the bottom side. Rusty Wallace started deep in the pack and didn't even lead this race till around halfway, but after that there was no stopping him. Bill Elliott had one of his best runs of the season. Dale Earnhardt's car continually improved, here passing Elliott for second. But there will be no stopping Rusty. He wins the spring and fall races at Rockingham this year and picks up his 9th victory of the season. Earnhardt was second and Elliott third. Rusty got back the 10 points he lost at Charlotte, so Dale now leads by 72. Mark Martin is third, Dale Jarrett fourth, and Morgan Shepherd fifth. Ken Schrader moves up to sixth, dropping Kyle Petty back to seventh. Ernie Irvan solid in eighth, then Bill Elliott and Ricky Rudd.
This has been a disappointing year for Bill Elliott by his own standards, but recently things have changed. They've been running really well, very competitive. Bill's put the Budweiser Ford on the pole today. Good chance to get that first win this year.
Well, we certainly hope so. I think we're going to give it our best effort, kind of see where things go. But all in all, Mike Beam and all the guys have really worked hard. You know, and it's a shame we hadn't done better, you know, up till now. But things have really been running well, and we hope today's going to be a good day for us.
Well, this team's headed in the right direction. I think today might be his day, Mike.
Well, Glenn, they've had a good weekend, but the car on the outside pole, not quite. Dick Trickle in the Mannheim car today qualified on the outside pole, but Trickle had trouble in yesterday's final practice session, scraping the wall in 3, sliding around, getting the whole back end up against the wall in 4, and damaging the rear end and its mountings. That crew, including Trickle, they're kneeling under the car, spent a long afternoon yesterday getting that car back in shape. Are they ready to challenge Bill Elliott for the lead on that first lap? Let's find out from Ralph Shaheen.
Dick, how bad is the car?
Well, really, the Mannheim auction people did a good job. The crew just got it going. We just had a slight ricochet off the wall yesterday and didn't hurt anything major, just more cosmetic. So we're in good shape.
Now to Glenn Jarrett with some special guests.
Well, I've got with me the Grand Marshal, Congressman Ed Pastor, and Brad Alexander with Western Auto. He's Vice President of Marketing and Advertising. You got something to tell these guys?
Gentlemen, start your engine.
There they are, 43 strong. Winston Cup and Winston West drivers to challenge this 1 mile oval at Phoenix, Arizona. Sears Diehard, with more power when you need it most, presents the starting grid. Bill Elliott shattered the track record 45th career pole. Dick Trickle, 4th career front row start. Mark Martin finished 2nd here last year. Ricky Rudd looking for a top 10 finish at Phoenix. Ernie Irvan, he's 1, 2, and 8 starts for Robert Yates. Rusty Wallace looks for win number 10 today. Sterling Marlin, best super speedway start since New Hampshire. And Ken Schrader, who won here 2.5 years ago. Jeff Gordon, the rookie, makes his 15th top 10 start. And Chuck Bound up from the Busch Series. Dale Earnhardt won here in 1990. Brent Bodine looking for his first win in 3 years. Rick Mast was 7th here in the 1990 race. And Dale Jarrett was 5th 4 years ago. Harry Gant looking for win number 1 in 93. And Lake Speed makes his 6th start for Bud Moore. Row 9, Jimmy Spencer's never finished out of the top 10 here. Steve Grissom makes his 2nd Winston Cup start. Jeff Bodine has 3 top 10s at Phoenix. Bobby Labonte has 2 top 10s on 1-mile racetracks this year. Darrell Waltrip has been no worse than 4th the last 4 years, and Morgan Shepherd was 3rd here in 1990. Michael Waltrip and the Winston Southwest Tour champ Ron Hornaday Jr. Rick Corelli, who's the Winston West champion, and Terry Labonte, who's finished 2nd here twice. In row 14, Kyle Petty rode his Harley all the way out here from North Carolina. Hut Strickland makes his 5th start at Phoenix. Jimmy Hensley is driving the Morgan McClure car today, and Todd Bodine for Butch Mock. In row 8, Derek Cope was 7th here last year, and Kenny Wallace has 3 top 10s this season. Wally Dallenbach, 2nd at Watkins Glen, and IndyCar racer John Andretti, who ran 6th here in the IndyCar race this year. Bobby Hillen and Ted Musgrave, who won the Copper Classic here in 1989. Rick Wilson returns to Phoenix, and Winston race winner from Winston West, Mike Chase. Rich Woodland, the 23-year-old from California, and Loy Allen Jr. is in the Country Time Ford today. Terry Fisher in the number 71, carrying Dave Marcus colors, and Dirk Stevens, the Winston West regular. Wayne Jacks makes his 1st Phoenix start, and he'll go 43rd. Field is set, and they're fired up in front of a record crowd here in Phoenix. We'll be right back.
The average Grand Prix lasts but a few hours, unless it's a Grand Prix started with a genuine Delco Freedom battery. Delco's rated tops for taking the pole position in starting power and excelling in reserve capacity. Helps keep your engine in the race for a longer, more reliable life.
AC Delco. It's like buying time. Now through December 4th, get started with up to $14 cash back on Delco Freedom batteries.
Next Sunday, live only on TNN Motorsports, Busch Grand National returns to North Carolina's Hickory Motor Speedway, and it's crunch time. With the points race on the line, Busch drivers will be pushing their cars right to the edge as they try to capture not only the checkered flag, but a possible season championship. With 1 race to go, it's do or die. The Pantry 500 next Sunday, live only on TNN Motorsports.
Welcome back to Phoenix, Arizona. It's going to be a good day for racing, but put the suntan oil away. The weather radar shows there's nothing happening out west here today. 68 degrees, 19% humidity. It is cloudy and a little cool out there. Today you'll be riding along with a couple of our TNN Innovation cams. Mark Martin will have 3 of them. You see the roof cam on top of his Valvoline Ford, starting 3rd today. Inside, over the shoulder, the mother-in-law cam with its tilt and pan capability. And what Mark Martin sees best represented by this roof cam. And we'll also have a face cam in Mark's car. There he is from the left door post, ready to go to work. Now for the real fun. Mr. Excitement, Jimmy Spencer, and the Meineke Mufflers Ford of Bobby Allison. We'll be carrying cameras today. There is the race cam. And here's the new deal. Hood ornament cam. You're going to get some really up-close stuff from this today, so sit way back from your TV set. Suspension cam in the right front. Happy birthday, Mom. There with all the front-end parts. That's as unique a birthday card as you'll ever see. That's the right front suspension of that car. 500 kilometers today at Phoenix. 43 cars in the field, 312 laps make up today's race distance. Bill Elliott is the record holder. There are the winners and where they started. in each Phoenix race. Earnhardt, the highest placed winner, started third when he won it in 90. Alan Kulwicki, his first Winston Cup win, came all the way from 21st to do it. We're ready to go racing here at Phoenix, Arizona. As they come down, green flag. Bill Elliott and Dick Trickle, the front row. 2 by 2 through the first and second corner, and then to the dog leg in the back straightaway.
Well, you'd think Trickle would have to be apprehensive of that car after that damage, but there he goes, right back after Bill Elliott on that outside.
From Mark Martin's car, in third place, Elliott noses under Trickle, and they get real close under the Goodyear Bridge. Who will lead the first lap at Phoenix? Trickle by 2 feet.
Boy, they repaved this racetrack, and it's a good thing they did. Two abreast this early in the race.
First time Dick Trickle's led the first lap of a Winston Cup race since June 1990 at Dover when he started on the pole. 3 wide.
Bill Elliott's car jumped sideways just then coming off the corner, and you see Mark Martin got right up under him. He's on the inside of him now, getting right on by.
Mark Martin up to second. Elliott comes charging back on the outside. Ricky Rudd is fourth. Rusty Wallace is fifth. Sterling Marlin, Ernie Irvin, Kenny Schrader, Jeff Gordon. And there is Dale Earnhardt behind Chuck Bound in the 39, the Rouleau brothers car out of Chicago.
Well, Chuck Bound had a good qualifying effort here.
Wants a Winston Cup ride. And an up-front finish today might do it for him. There are going to be some seats open. Earnhardt makes the pass. Side by side at fourth place now, as they're otherwise single file through the pack. There's Earnhardt. There you see Jeff Gordon diving underneath Schrader as Ricky Rudd around the outside, and around goes Schrader off the nose of Earnhardt.
I'm sure we'll show that again, but you could pretty well see what happened there. Schrader was unaware that Earnhardt was under him, and there was contact going through the corner there and turned him right up into the wall.
Here's a 6 car racing back to the line.
And Mark Martin leads the lap here. He's the number 3 point man in Winston Cup. And Schrader will be able to drive this one away.
The key here, he's trying to get away before they caught up, but he went a lap down.
He's got some severe damage to the front of the car there, Neil. The left front tire is
he's got
down, and it's also bent in. It's like the front end's not completely out from under the left front.
A lot of front end damage to the car.
Now he's saying, why?
Watch the upper part of your screen there.
Okay, you see Earnhardt's car never varied. It was right on the yellow line there, and Schrader come down just a little bit, and they got into each other. Don't take much, does it, Neil?
No, I tell you, we've seen cars all week long. If they get out of this black area, move up in that white where that rosin's at, they've been sprinklers. This is after they had the contact back in the middle of the corner. Boy, I hate to see Schrader have that trouble this early. Looked like we were talking about, looked like a lot of damage to his car, that front end. Here they're going in the bottom. Kenny's out just a little bit wide. He's coming back across, and man, I tell you, it's a situation where one guy coming down, the other, not a lot of room for either one of them.
Now, they ran a Southwest Tour race here yesterday, and that helped to cure in this brand new racing surface. You see outside the white concrete wall, there's about 2 to 3 raceable lanes where all of the rosin that Neil talked about that's been put onto this new asphalt to help cure it has all been blown off. But if you get outside those 3 lanes, out to where you see that what looks like gray dust out there, well,
Kenny Schrader took his car straight back into the garage area, and they're going to work on it right now. I'm sure he'll get back out, but that's such a bad break this early in the race.
You're riding with Mark Martin. He is the race leader here at Phoenix, Arizona after 5 laps. Time to play the Polaroid photo fake-out game. If you know what's wrong with this picture, and you're an astute Winston Cup and Busch Racing fan, you could win a trip to Daytona for the 500.
What's wrong with this picture?
Hi, I'm Shauna Robinson.
And I'm Aaron Tippin.
You've got to check out the Polaroid Captiva Photo Fakeout. If you send in the correct entry, you can win big. And one grand prize winner will win a dream trip for 2 to Daytona 500 and 2 nights at Captiva Island.
3 winners will win a 2-night trip for 2 to beautiful Captiva Island, Florida. And we'll go to dinner with you and a guest in Daytona.
And there's more.
Prizes include Polaroid Captiva cameras and Aaron Tippin's CD catalog, including his latest release, Call of the Wild.
Race fans, if you can spot what's wrong with this picture, call 1-900-820-4TNN to enter. Each call costs 90 cents per call. No phone call is necessary to win. Or send your answer along with your name, address, and phone number to this address. This sweepstakes is brought to you by Polaroid.
You want to know the secret to choosing a motor oil? You wait till the sun goes down. You take a ride to your local garage and then get a real close look at what the mechanic puts into his own car. Fact is, more top mechanics in America choose Valvoline over any other brand. Valvoline can help keep cars on the road for 100, 200, 300,000 miles and more. So before you buy a motor oil for your car, know the one more top mechanics put into theirs. People who know use Valvoline.
Most of our customers come to AutoZone for low prices and for parts they can replace themselves. But many people come because we speak their language. Things like duration and lift and compression ratios, stuff like that. Because a guy who's going to rebuild an engine, he won't buy parts from just anybody. And since AutoZone stocks complete engines, we know what makes them tick inside and out. Sure, we sell our best parts at our best prices every day. But if we know something that's going to help you do the job right, you get that free.
One lap ago, they dropped the green flag, and Mark Martin stepped out with the lead. Dick Trickle runs his second. Bill Elliott is third. Rusty Wallace is fourth. Fifth is Sterling Marlin. Ricky Rudd in sixth. Ernie Irvan in seventh. Jeff Gordon in eighth. Ninth is Dale Earnhardt. 10th, Chuck Bound. 11th is Brett Bodine. 12th is Rick Mast. 13th, Dale Jarrett. 14th is Harry Gant. 20th place, Kyle Petty. On the move just ahead of Morgan Shepherd there and closing in on Jimmy Spencer. Kyle started back in 27th. He picked up 7 positions before the first caution flag.
Well, after that ride out here on that Harley from North Carolina, you'd think this thing feels good to him today.
And he's going to ride it home.
I'd ride it home in the back of that truck. Quite a ride.
Kyle and Harry Gant rode out here on Harley Davidson's from North Carolina. From the hood ornament cam on Jimmy Spencer's car. You're looking on ahead. That is Jeff Bodine just ahead. And here up front, Mark Martin steps it out.
I'll tell you what, going down in turn 1, you see Rusty Wallace right behind Bill Elliott. Rusty got up beside Bill. He's really wanting to get up there and get those points for leading the race. And going down in turn 1, Rusty had the count on him. Bill pulled him up off turn 2. As they enter this corner, it seems like the 2 car can lay right down there on that line. The lap before he got under Bill a little bit up off this corner, but not quite able to do it now.
Well, that was the key for Rusty last week at Rockingham. You saw him live on TNN. He could run right down the bottom.
Spencer rode up close to the wall.
Got a little out in that loose stuff. Lost a couple of spots. There's the battle as Wallen looks underneath Elliott, who looks underneath Dick Trickle for second place. Elliott again sneaks the nose underneath. May have Trickle this time in the back straightaway. Certainly he's got the room on the bottom. Makes the pass.
That's what's so good about this racetrack. When you say room, Mike, we talked about the area they've got worked out. There's 2 pretty raceable lines. And before the day's over, it's probably going to widen out even more. They cut that rosin off the top, so let's see some good racing.
Let's get out of pit road. Here's Ralph.
You see the crew working on Kenny Schrader's car. Kenny, what happened?
It got run into. It got turned around.
Simple racing accident?
No, you can call it whatever you want. You know, just we're crashed. He's racing.
Obviously a very disappointed Kenny Schrader.
Well, one reason for that, Ralph, is Schrader is 6th in the points, but he is only 37 points ahead of 8th place. And that Winston Cup payout goes all the way down the line, and Schrader, that may have been a $30,000 to $40,000 crash for Schrader when the points total up. Trouble, turn 1, turn 2. Sterling Marlin stopped in turn 2, and one car, Lake Speed, spins way up in turn 2 as Jeff Bodine is against the wall between 1 and 2. That was about a 3-way accident. Sterling spun 360 degrees and got going again. And Jeff Bodine got the worst of it.
Yeah, he's got a lot of damage. He's trying to get himself out of the racing groove with the traffic coming. Good job, just backed it down out of the way.
Short day of racing and a long flight home.
Boy, I'm telling you, he is not a happy camper. Look at this.
I got a feeling he's going to go out there and talk to somebody when they come by. Oh, me. See if we can tell what happened here.
There's Sterling loose. Looks like he and Irvin might have made a little contact. There's so much going on, it's going to be hard to tell you everything that happens here. Sterling starts and everybody starts slowing up, and I think it was just chain reaction behind there.
That happened at turn 2. Bodine hit the wall at turn 1.
Here we go. See what happened.
Watch Bodine, white car. Yep.
Red car right behind him there. 27 car, Bud Strickland.
Yep, he got in
they
the back of him.
He got in the back of him, sent him sailing up through there.
Now everybody there were on the brakes for Sterling's spin.
Yeah, you see up front, there's the car spinning. Well, that's what stacked them up behind there. They saw that. The drivers start throwing their hands up, getting on the brakes, and chain reaction, just like you said, and the 7 car's right up in the wall.
There's the 15 car, left side of your screen. Got around, he and Harry Gant got together.
Wow, look at Steve Grissom almost got right in the side of the 15.
There's Marlin, a full 360. Ricky Rudd and Jeff Gordon had to do quite a job to get away from that.
Looked like the 8 and the 28 were the initial problem on the racetrack, and then it just got worse from there.
I think we better explain. Steve Grissom is driving the Diamond Ridge number 29 today, and he's doing quite a good job, and he paid for his ride just then by missing the race.
Got a good qualifying run.
Yes, he did.
Now, when you're the car owner and the driver, you stay a little bit longer and help them instruct how to load it.
Right. Second caution of the day here at Phoenix International. We will be right back.
Next week on TNN Country News, country celebration for Garth Brooks and Sammy Kershaw. Plus, Tanya Tucker shows her stuff on stage.
TNN Country News, weeknights.
It comes specially equipped with dual airbags, cruise control, air conditioning, 4-speaker AM/FM cassette stereo, and power accessories like luxury sedans costing twice the money. The 1994 Nissan Altima GXE. It not only defines what a luxury car should be, it redefines what a luxury car should cost. Lease the Altima for just $750 down and $229 a month for 36 months.
Speedway, the South's fastest short track. DeSoto Speedway, the South's fastest short track, has something for you every Saturday night. And it's awesome. Late model sportsman, open wheel modified, straight stock, modified minis, your stock minis, and a limited schedule of pro figure.
Join me, Rusty Wallace, Ernie Irvin, Cale Yarborough, Jimmy Spencer, and Rick Wilson Saturday, November 6th for the exciting Granger Select Race of Champions at DeSoto Speedway. Come early for the autograph session. See you there.
Up on the hillside, turn 3 and 4 here at Phoenix. Some fans enjoying the race. Wonder if they have cable up there. Jeff Bodine's car is on the rollback. And one race in one lap will go. Watch, see if there's initial contact here between Irvin's black car and the blue car of Sterling Marlin.
Okay, it looks like Sterling's right behind there. We're losing picture just a little bit, but what he did is checked up just a little bit to try to get under trickle, and the 28 car was right behind him, and I just made very little contact there. Nothing intentional whatsoever, but it turns the 8 car around.
Check on the right side of your screen this time. Different angle. Yep.
A little bit of contact right there. Looks like he's turning down under the 41 like Buddy's talking about. It doesn't take both of you make a commitment on the floor by that corner. One of you lift, you're going to nail him.
Third crash for Jeff Bodine since becoming an owner driver 6 races ago. He got caught up in wrecks at Dover, in North Wilkesboro, and today here at Phoenix. A very expensive entry into car ownership for Jeff Bodine. Right now, Rusty Wallace in 3rd, Dale Earnhardt in 11th as we get ready to restart. Mark Martin's your leader, Bill Elliott 2nd, 2 Fords and a Pontiac. Check that, Wallace in 2nd, Elliott in 3rd, excuse me.
Yeah, Wallace, if he's right there 2nd, you can bet he's going to be going after that lead. If I can get some of that elite bonus early, he can.
Last week at Rockingham, Rusty did not lead until halfway.
He's going to earn it. If he passes Mark Martin on this racetrack, he's going to have to do more than what he's doing right at the moment. But you can guarantee one thing. Rusty Wallace never gives anything but 100%.
Well, there's Mark out a little bit wide.
Yep.
That gives Rusty that opportunity to get up under him coming off the corner. He did lead that lap. Well, they scored, and they scored right here at the line.
And you're riding with Mark Martin, who's going to come right back for it out of turn number 2.
Rusty.
Might he have extended a little courtesy to Rusty?
You know, both of them have raced ASA together. They're good friends, and that might have been a little courtesy deal there. 5 points, thank you.
Yep.
Now, you may say showing favoritism, helping him lead. I don't think so. If he lets Rusty lead a lap, that gets Rusty off his butt and harassing him to try to lead a lap.
And I'll tell you something else. If Dale Earnhardt gets up there, he'd do the same thing for him.
Most likely.
Yeah, you can see once they led that lap, Rusty's right back in there behind him. So, good move on both of them.
Here comes Irvin underneath Dick Trickle. Let's check with Ralph.
Surveying the damage of his race car is Jeff Bodine. Jeff, what happened?
Got run into. There's an accident ahead of us, I guess, going into 1 and 2, and my spotter said accident. I just slowed up a little bit. Actually, I was just going into 1, and I guess it was Hutch Strickland behind me just ran into me. You know, you don't do those things on purpose, but it was pretty stupid. You know, no one else ran into each other, and I guess he just wasn't listening to his spotter. He didn't say anything or wasn't watching, but, you know, it's just such a shame. Wrecked my car this early in the race. It doesn't seem right, but those things happen. It's part of racing.
Jeff Bodine hoping to get a lot more TV time today than he did, hoping to attract a major sponsor for his team for next year. Having a look at Kyle Petty here just in front of Hutch Strickland. Big news on that team. We'll fill you in a little bit later. But Kyle started back in 27, and he's now in the top 15. Mark Martin leads it by 2 car lengths over Rusty Wallace. And I think that was a smart move on Mark's part. You got a guy that needs those 5 points, and he might get hungrier than you'd want him to be, and you get yourself in trouble. Rusty got to lead a lap. Now Mark goes right back in front, sets the pace. Sharp maneuver. We're back with Chuck Bown in 39, the Rulo Brothers pedigree dog food car. Harry Gant, the Skull Bandit, and Kyle Petty is right with him in the Mellow Yellow Pontiac. That battle for 13th place. Let's move up a few spots here to Dale Jarrett, leading Ricky Rudd, Dale Earnhardt, and Bobby Labonte. Labonte, whose crew changed engines this morning in the Bill Davis Maxwell House Ford, trying to overhaul Jeff Gordon for Rookie of the Year honors. Had some strong top 10 finishes. Right now, Rusty Wallace in a position to pick up 17, or minus 17 right now. As they sit, with Wallace in 2nd, and Earnhardt back at 11th.
There's Ricky Rudd trying to get up under Dale Jarrett. They repaved this track, and that outside lane is so good. When you turn under a guy, it's not a big advantage because they get such a good bite on the outside of the racetrack. But you see Rudd, he's really being persistent right there, trying to get under Jarrett. Here he is up beside him off of that corner.
And we're seeing a not all that aggressive Dale Earnhardt in these first few laps.
Maybe after that thing at the first of that race, he's kind of weighing out. He doesn't need to take those chances.
Neil, I think you're right. I mean, you know that Earnhardt likes Schrader. They're good friends off the race. Oh, boy. They got together a little bit there, and Earnhardt got sideways. But I'm sure in the back of his mind, he's saying, I got to be a little more careful and not get myself wrapped up into something. I said that he almost took himself out.
Looked like Dale Jarrett came down the racetrack trying to square off the corner. Got into the side of Earnhardt. Let's show you that again.
Up under the inside right there.
I tell you, the 3-car come up that time.
Yeah, look like the back end's coming out. He drove right up into it there and really lost the rear.
Now here's Kyle Petty underneath Earnhardt. And Chuck Bown. Looks like Chuck got a little corner of that bumper there. And here comes Hutch Strickland down the inside, and Bobby Labonte making a run at Dale Jarrett.
see Darrell Waltrip moving up quite a bit. He qualified fastest second-day qualifier, but he's up in the big boy hunt now.
Well, when they come off that corner there, it looks like they're 3 and 4 wide. Well, they almost are. That's where that dog leg's at. You come off the corner, and everybody just spreads out. And then they got to get at least double mile down in turn 3.
Tight pack of cars for Earnhardt to be playing in. You can't let them go by.
I don't think they got the car like they needed to be right now this time, because he wouldn't be dropping back. His trademark is going to the front. If he's losing this much ground early, he's going to have trouble before the day's over if they don't get that thing sorted out.
Strickland's had a good run today. He's come from 28th on the grid up to 14th in the McDonald's Ford. He looks under Earnhardt, who dives under Jarrett.
I tell you, Jarrett's car is really strong down the straightaway. Earnhardt finally got under him there.
We just picked up a radio transmission that said his car's pushing. Buddy, that's part of the while ago you said he came up the track and got in the side of Jarrett. Gets back in the throttle and the car wants to go straight.
Okay, we'll elaborate on that a little bit. What he did is started pushing the front end. He backed off to make it quit pushing and turned the back around on it. It unloads and puts all the weight on the front wheels.
You're watching from the hood ornament of Jimmy Spencer's car. Up to Darrell Waltrip, and Spencer looks underneath the Western Auto Chevy. Wasn't much underneath there, was there?
How much camera have we got stuck out there?
In practice, let me tell you, Darrell Waltrip had one of the fastest, not the fastest car in practice, and just missed a lap. Almost lost it qualifying, but he's had a real quick race car all week.
Kyle Petty chasing Bobby Labonte just ahead of that group. That's for 10th place, as Spencer completes the pass underneath Dale Jarrett. Harry Gant moving up. Michael Waltrip right behind Gant. Good close battling here from 15th spot back. We asked Jack Roush about his 1994 plans with Mark Martin. Here are those.
Well, we plan to run 2 Winston Cup cars, of course, with our greatest enthusiasm. Valvoline will be back with Mark. We've got a new sponsor that we hope to announce at Atlanta for Ted Musgrave. Winn-Dixie will be back with our Busch Grand National car. We're talking to some people about sponsorship for a Busch Grand National short program for Ted, like the one we have for Mark with Winn-Dixie.
Gentlemen, start your engine.
Red ball of fire. You shake my nerves and you rattle my brain. But your love drives a man insane. You broke my wheel, what a thrill. Doesn't it raise a red ball of fire?
Bosch Platinum, the ultimate spark plug.
This is friction. Metal grinding on metal. Friction can wear your engine down. Friction can shorten its life. This is Pennzoil, the friction-fighting motor oil that protects more engines than any other motor oil in America. Choose Pennzoil. Use Pennzoil, and you'll get quality engine protection in each and every drop. Pennzoil. Performance, protection, quality.
While everyone talks about how racing technology makes their street cars better, there isn't a car company today that brings more race-winning technology to the street than Chevrolet.
TNN viewers have come to know Race Day as their same-day source for motorsports highlights and news. This is Pat Patterson. Be sure to join us tonight at 8:30 when we'll have highlights of many of the day's big events. Don't wait for tomorrow's paper to find out what happened today. Watch Race Day tonight right here on the Nashville Network.
Race Day, 2nd edition, 8:30 p.m. Eastern today on TNN Motorsports.
Caution is out here at Phoenix for oil in turn number 2 from Dirk Stevens' engine. Let's go to Glenn Jarrett in the Earnhardt pit.
Well, we're expecting a chassis adjustment. Richard Childress has the wrench, and yes, he is going to the left rear. Obviously, they'll change all 4 tires.
The car was pushing. Crew Chief Andy Petrie told me he was just pushing too bad. That's what caused Dale to get loose those couple times. Had the wheels cut too much trying to get it to turn down the racetrack. Broke the back end loose. They have got the right sides off. They're on the lefts now. The chassis adjustment is made, so hopefully Dale will find the car more to his liking when he gets back up to speed.
It is, however, a pretty lengthy pit stop for Earnhardt as these things go. And he'll be well deep in the pack when they get back to green. Robert Yates' crew, Larry McReynolds' group, had the fastest pit stop, so Ernie Irvan will be the race leader if all the rest of the cars decide to pit. There is Dirk Stevens.
Put on a lot of oil coming off turn 2. Didn't have any choice but get out there, put a little bit of oil dry down on it.
Well, Neil, you know, on a flat racetrack like this, it don't take much. Look at this tire laying out here in the middle of pit road where all the cars go out. This guy said, shut up. Yeah, I'll go.
Take those tires off and set them down, and occasionally one of them will get punted out there into the pit lane. No apparent damage.
Look at the people on the hills here watching the race. They don't have grandstand seats. They're up on the hill up here.
Kind of looks like Watkins Glen or Lime Rock Park or Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin, where you sit on the hillsides instead of in the grandstands. That's all. Of course, that's unreserved seating up there. General admission, kind of like a family area. Folks can drag their cooler up there, have a bit of fun. We'll be right back.
Robert, all we need here is some oil and we'll be ready to crank.
Okay. Yes, get us 2 cases. I have one.
Yes, sir, right away. Robert, we're out.
Get us 2 cases and fly.
There's only one motor oil that Robert Yates Racing relies on for complete protection. Haviland Formula 3 from Texaco. The same Haviland Formula 3 you can use in your car.
That was quick.
Yeah, they had it right down the street.
Hey, we got 50.
Really hard to explain. It'd be like a full-blown dinosaur screaming in your ear.
Oh.
It just nails you in the seat, pushes you back and up so hard that you almost wonder if your neck's going to stay on it when it's really on a good run.
If you were sitting still at a stoplight and got run into at 100 mile an hour by an 18-wheeler, that'd give you some kind of an idea of what it feels like.
Get ready. The NHRA Winston Finals today, live only on TNN Motorsports.
Every day, we all find a way.
A promise made, a promise kept, giving it out there.
Napa, we're the most complete source for auto parts, and all Napa parts are backed by a nationwide warranty program. No wonder more Americans trust Napa to keep their vehicles running.
We keep America running. We keep America running.
Exclusive coverage of the Slick 5500 on the Nashville Network is brought to you by Napa. We keep America running. Behind the Z28 safety car, Ernie Irvan. Up to the front, rather Sterling Marlin up to the front, Dick Trickle. Now in the Mannheim car, started on the outside pole. He's currently posted in 9th place according to our scoring rundown, and let's check in with Dick. Dick, this is Mike Joy up at TNN. Looks like you got off to a real good start there and having some fun out there.
For the Mannheim crew's really done a good job. We had to fix a little rickety off the wall yesterday, and we just started out just a hair loose, but we're real close here.
All right, 1 to go. Good luck. We'll check with you later. Trickle having a good run here today. His plans for 94 are a little up in the air. A few things solidified and were announced here this weekend. We'll fill you in as the day goes on.
We're watching this 8 car, Sterling Marlin leading the race. He spun just a few laps ago. He was one of the guys in that spin, so he had just pitted. He did not pit on this caution. This is the way he took the lead. Just a few laps ago, he came in and put those other tires on, so he's going to stay out.
A look at Dale Earnhardt, who after that lengthy pit stop posted in 16th position. Kyle Petty, who has come up to 8th spot from 27th on the starting grid. Marlin's the leader. Irvan is second. Elliott third. And this man, Mark Martin, rides in 4th. Getting set to go racing here. Boy, they restart all the way into the front straightaway here, not up in turns 3 and 4. And we are back under green.
Sterling Marlin's been running very well since the very start of this race today.
But for that one spin in turn 2, which apparently did no damage to the Ray Vestas Ford.
Yeah, he didn't lose a lap. He is the leader. Now he spun, but didn't lose a lap.
Here comes Elliott on the outside. There's Marlin way up the racetrack. Goodbye.
Yeah, you know, when those guys are sitting on new tires around you, and you've got some used ones, there's just almost too much edge you can overcome.
So now Mark Martin with onboard telemetry shows you what they turn for speed and RPM here at Phoenix.
You know, guys, that's a real camera that looks like what you see when you're racing a race car. That inboard camera there, I'm going to tell you, that roof cam is as close as you'll ever come to driving a race car yourself.
You know, I saw 87, 88 down the back. It shouldn't be as much down this front straightaway. It looked like 85, 86. The back straightaway, you get a little bit more RPM. Jack Roush does not mind twisting those motors, that kind of RPM.
Loves to listen to that dyno hum.
Boy, that car, 28 car, is flying down the straightaway. He went to the outside, the inside. He's looking everywhere to try to get by Mark Martin right now.
Ernie Irvan is 8th in the points, just 28 back of Kyle Petty. He's looking for 5 bonus points right here. Earnhardt underneath Darrell Waltrip.
Boy, Darrell got a run up off that corner. About a half car length lead there.
13th place is this battle.
You know, just before the caution there, Earnhardt was losing ground, and the 17 car Darrell Waltrip had passed him. So they've made an improvement on the 3 car now.
And Earnhardt begins his move forward. He is 13th. Rusty Wallace is 4th.
You know, Neil, that's the difference in a great crew and an average crew. A great crew will keep adjusting until they get that car as good as that driver can make it for the day.
Well, what teams hope for is they've got something good enough to start with, that you've got a close enough combination of springs and shocks and sway bars to where you can dial it in during the course of the day. If you've got the wrong basic pieces out there, you'll never get it straightened out. But it looks like they might have it where they can dial around with it all day.
He's passed Ricky Rudd in his next to last ride in a Hendrick Motorsports tied Chevy. Let's check with Glenn.
Well, we reported that Andy Petrie and the crew made an adjustment on Earnhardt's car. Andy, how has it affected it?
Well, we don't know yet. I hadn't talked to him, but we were pushing pretty good there to start with. We made an adjustment. We'll see how it does.
The car looks like it really gets a bite down low down here in 1 and 2.
Yeah, it looks pretty good over here. I don't know where we're losing time. We may be losing a little bit up there in 3 and 4, but we'll keep working on it.
Well, they're putting the clock on him, so they're keeping an eye on him. Ralph?
Buddy Barrett is the crew chief for Rusty Wallace. Buddy, you made some changes to Rusty's car. What'd you do? How's he running?
Well, we just made a little air pressure adjustment there on that one pit stop, and we had a great pit stop. We just got trapped in with the other cars coming in, and we had to be real careful not to bend any fenders. But Miller Genuine Draft car is really running great today, and how about you, Greg Wallace, be an armchair quarterback for us today? Really appreciate you meeting me out here.
There you see from Mark Martin on back to Ernie Irvan, Bill Elliott, and Rusty Wallace, the front 4. Irvan has so far led 6 of 7 races since joining the Robert Yates team. Make that 7 of 8 races since joining Robert Yates.
See that Mark Martin moved out about 5 or 6 car lengths ahead of Ernie Irvan. Ernie's car is running great down the straightaway, but that 6th car is really getting around this racetrack. The corner speeds are phenomenal right now.
You know, it's not unusual to see all these Fords running up front. At Phoenix, the last 5 races, 4 of them have been Fords. So this track is really good for that manufacturer. They're getting the job done here today.
Kyle Petty continues to roll toward the front. Underneath the Quaker State Ford of Brett Bodine. And how about Rick Mabb? Moving along up there, started 13th. He's now up into 8th place. The Skoal Ford of Richard Jackson. Petty closing in on Sterling Marlin.
car, Kyle Petty, is really picking them up and putting them down right now. I imagine, like you said, Neil, if you rode a motorcycle from North Carolina out here, that race car probably feels pretty darn good.
The only thing, the quicker he gets through here, the quicker he's got to climb back on and go.
Sterling Marlin. Kyle.
Now, that's as close as you'll ever come to not wreck it and have it all the way. I've never seen a car switch that fast.
Well, right down there, coming off turn 4, this racetrack is pretty flat, but the apron actually inverts the opposite way. Looks like you hung that left front off on that flat part, buddy.
Well, I tell you what.
You know, that's one characteristic of the radial tire. The bias ply tire, you know, starts to go away, and you move a little, but the radial tire grips, bends, and then away it goes.
Yeah, it's going to keep you on the edge of your seat all day, I promise you.
He was on the edge right now. Let's show it to you again.
Let's see if he gets that left front real close. Oh, just tried to cut it under him.
He was just a little bit out of shape, and it got worse and worse.
What happens is you turn that thing down, the front end of the stick, you lay that power down, open that throttle wide open, you bust those rear tires loose, and it's going to break it out of there.
Plus, the left side springs are so much softer than the right side. When you switch it back the other way, it unloads pretty hard.
Yep.
This race is 4 seconds behind the leader, and just behind it, Dick Trickle and Jeff Gordon are going at it. Earnhardt closing in. Mark Martin maintains a 2-car length lead on Ernie Irvan as we watch this race for 9th place. Trickle has it. Gordon wants it. Earnhardt's coming. Earnhardt was 16th on the restart. He's now 11th.
Sorry, Jeff Gordon seems to be getting around this racetrack quite well.
Gordon taking a look on the inside of Trickle right there. That's what's so misleading about this track. You say, well, I'm under the guy. Well, that's good. Get under him, but you're not going to go by. They get such a good bite on that thing on that outside. The car just jumps off the corner.
Talk about a bite. Look at Earnhardt, how much he's closed in 1 lap on these cars. Neil, you look like you're flying till you get up about 3rd or 4th place, and then you hit a batch of cars that are running as good as you are, and it looks like you put the brakes on all of a sudden.
Yeah, see, this is the 24 and 41 of Trickle here with Jeff Gordon. They've been battling each other a little bit, and it's slowing both of them down something. Earnhardt's really reeling them in, but catching them now. The question is, can he get around them? These guys are working pretty hard.
Gordon looks on the high side of Trickle that time.
Well, just like with Gordon, he's trying to use some patience to work his way around the 41, but he looks in the mirror and sees the 3. He said, patience time is over. I got to go.
You know, this race is very important to Jeff Gordon's team, too. They've been in top 10 all year, and now they're trying to get back in the top 10.
Up toward the front, Bill Elliott runs in 3rd, still looking for win number 1. We asked Junior Johnson, his car owner, about his plans for 1994.
Well, pretty much so. We're going to run the same 2 cars we ran this year, Budweiser and McDonald's, and Bill Elliott will be the number 11 driver, and right now it looks like Jimmy Spencer will be driving the 27 car.
Craftsman Tools, chosen the official tools of NASCAR, the official tools of NHRA, the official tools of IndyCar racing. Next time you need a tool, what tool are you gonna choose? 1,600 Craftsman hand tools, made in America, guaranteed forever.
You can count on me.
Only at Sears.
Wouldn't it be great if you were stranded on a desert island with a beautiful woman named Betty?
Cool.
And while scouting the island, you were suddenly surrounded.
You!
But then they noticed your shoes.
You! Great one! Booga, booga!
So they gave you gifts. Keystone Light and Keystone Dry. Specially lined for really smooth.
Bottle beer taste and tear! Tweeting time!
Wouldn't that be great?
Happy birthday, Cousin Dave!
What's this?
We're here for your birthday party!
That's next week.
Oh, Ed.
Does that mean there's no food?
There's a Wendy's nearby.
Now you're talking.
Everything on Wendy's Super Value menu is 99 cents each. Freshly made salads, hamburgers hot off the grill, chili, delicious food you can only get here. Plus, for $1.99, get a hamburger kids meal.
Happy birthday! Look, We're twins.
Great.
Wendy's, you don't pay more, you just get more.
Everyone ready?
Hey, is that a Polaroid camera, Mr. Hinkle?
It sure is, Billy. It's my new Polaroid Captiva.
Looks cool. Can I have it?
No. Everyone smile and say Bunsen burner.
Cheese!
One more.
Where's the picture? I thought it was a Polaroid camera. Yeah.
One more.
Then where's the picture?
Introducing the new Polaroid Captiva. It's sleek, it's stylish. Its pocket-sized pictures stay in a special compartment till you take them out, so you're free to shoot and shoot.
Is this some kind of joke?
One more. The new Polaroid Captiva. The pictures stay in. One more. Till you take them out.
Ray Bestis, best in break, has their helicopter-mounted camera high atop Phoenix International Raceway, bringing you these pictures of the battle for 9th place. Dick Trickle, Jeff Gordon, Dale Earnhardt. We've got our toll-free number in use today if you want to call up and ask any question you have about today's race in particular or about Winston Cup racing in general. It's a toll-free call, 1-800-451-7331. They'll take your questions in Nashville and forward them on to us here in Phoenix. We'll try to answer as many as we can, especially those that are pertinent to today's race. Once again, 1-800-451-7331. It's the free call.
We saw Jeff Gordon move the outside of Dick Trickle. Trickle gave him the room out there. 24 made the pass.
I think Trickle's having some problems or handling problems because he moved over and let both cars by.
Well, let's find out. Ralph Shaheen's in his pit.
Doug Richard is the crew chief for Dick. Are you concerned about anything with that car? How's he running right now?
Well, so far so good. After yesterday's excursion with the wall there in the last practice, we were able to lead a couple of the first laps, but the car went a little loose on us. We made some more adjustments during the pit stop. Right now, we're not quite as fast as the leaders, but there's no reason why the Manhunt Chevrolet can't be running up front towards the end of the race.
Now to Glenn Jarrett in the Sabco pit.
Well, Ralph, somebody else has made some improvements on their car, too. Robin Pemberton Kyle looks like he's really running well. The car must feel good to him.
Yeah, it's doing pretty good right now. We're just looking. It shows like it's tight, but he says it's pretty good. We got by a bunch of cars early, and that's going to help. We're about maintaining right now on Mark.
One more quick question. Give us an update on your brother, our broadcast colleague, I can't talk, your brother, Randy.
Randy's doing okay. He's in Carolina's Medical Center recovering from an operation on his back, and he's doing a lot better. He's going to be in there a couple more days. I'm going to get back there as quick as I can to agitate him. I'd like to say hello to Brian Briggs and Lisa, too. I'll be back there to irritate you all here pretty soon.
Okay, Randy, hurry back. We miss you.
Thanks, Glenn, and that's sentiment from all of us here at TNN. Kyle Petty is irritating a lot of the cars in this field. At lap 10, he was 20th. He's up to 5th. Started back in 27.
Okay, it's good to hear that Randy's doing better. He works with us in the pits all the time, and he went in supposedly for kind of minor surgery, and it got a little more complicated, and he's had a lot of trouble with it. Hopefully that thing's behind him now and he's coming around. Hope so.
Kyle is in 5th. Let's go back up front. Mark Martin. Does he know any other way to run that car than wide, flat open all the time?
I can tell you, he's running very, very hard right now with 28 cars right there with him. This is a real tight race, the first 3 cars.
The last 6 Winston Cup races have all been won by Rusty Wallace and Ernie Irvan. 4 for Rusty, 2 for Ernie. And since mid-June, only 4 drivers have been in victory lane. Rick Mast and Jeff Gordon behind Brett Bodine here. 7th place at stake. There's Earnhardt. I knew he couldn't be too far out of the picture.
Yeah, but you see Jeff Gordon's pulling away from him.
Trouble, turn 4. Up and into the wall goes Jimmy Hensley in the Morgan McClure Kodak car. Yellow is out.
Man, that's a shame. I was really hoping he'd have a good ride today.
He has a good ride for next year. He'll replace Ted Musgrave in the Jasper Engines US Air Ford. Didn't see if there was contact. He just went into a snap spin, spun around, and got up and into the concrete. I don't believe there was contact with another car.
I know one thing. He got up in the air. He got in that wall pretty hard. The car jumped up in the air. Looks like some liquid coming out of the front. It must have busted the radiator also. He's going to crank it off, but he's got too much damage.
4th caution of the day here at Phoenix International Raceway for Jimmy Hensley up in turn number 4. He's going to drive it to the garage. We'll be right back.
Next Sunday on TNN Motorsports. Okay, how about some service? Fill her up and give me a new set of tires. Come on, I'm in a hurry here. It's the World Championship Pit Crew competition next Sunday on TNN Motorsports.
There once was a more leisurely time when the 12 days of Christmas brought family and friends together. Home Shopping Club brings you 12 weeks of great Christmas gift ideas, from collectibles to jewelry to toys and more, to delight all those on your list. You've got the club.
Home Shopping Club.
Reba McEntire, the birthday fairy for WQYK.
This Thursday morning, you could win 10 grand. Just put your radio on WQYK, that's 99.5 FM. Then listen Thursday morning at 7:10. We'll announce the birthday in this envelope. And if it matches yours, you could win $10,000. Yes!
WQYK, Tampa Bay's country station.
Somebody's going to win $10,000 Thursday morning at 7:10 on WQYK. See you then.
Scanning the mountains here at Phoenix International. Very picturesque racetrack in quite a different way than the tracks on the East Coast. Sagebrush, saguaro cactus. It's a different look. It's a neat part of the country.
Mike, just a few years ago, the racetrack was cactus and stuff. You know? And let me tell you what, Buddy Job and that group that owned this racetrack out here, and all the people with them, they've done a tremendous job the last few years. As nice a racetrack as we go to, tremendous job building this place up.
Now, one lap down cars are coming onto pit road this time, and Jeff Gordon will be the race leader when we go back to the restart.
They had a great pit stop, but as Neil pointed out, a lot of these cars are getting caught up in the pits here, and the people pitted at the far end down there getting an advantage on stops.
We saw that yesterday in the Southwest Tour race. We watched some of the Winston West drivers making their pit stops here. Now, here's Rusty Wallace's pit right at the start-finish line. Pit road at Phoenix is very wide, and it extends way down toward turn 1 like at most tracks, but it also extends around the corner past the 76 ball. There are about 4 or 5 pits way down there, and it does seem, Buddy, that some of the cars that pit down around the corner don't get caught up in the traffic coming out of the pit stall like Buddy Parrott talked about, and are going to be a little further up in the running order when they come back out.
The second car in that picture is Kenny Schrader. They've made the changes on that car, and he's back in the event now.
Took him 41 minutes.
Let's go down and see if we can talk to Mark Martin. Mark, this is Neil Bond, FTNN. Can you hear me?
Yeah, hey, Neil.
I tell you what, you're back to your old tricks, just blowing them sideways out there. We've been looking over your shoulder. I know Tack's ringing some big numbers up there.
Yeah, car's working real good. I'm proud of these boys in the pits. They got me a good pit stop there, and everything's rolling along nice. But we got you got Ernie running real good, Kyle and 3 or 4 others. It's early in the race. A lot of things can happen yet.
Some of the guys were talking about a little bit of oil on tracks. It feel pretty good to you?
Track's great. We didn't need that caution before this one. There was a little bit of oil on the inside of the racetrack, but it wasn't where we were running. So it was a safety thing to get it cleaned up, but we really didn't need it that bad.
Doing a great job, Mark. We'll talk to you later. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ken Schrader was in the garage area for 41 minutes making repairs, but he's back out.
You know, did you hear Mark Martin talking about Kyle Petty's running well? The spotters told him that's next to the fastest car on the racetrack. Keep your eye on him.
That's right.
Yeah, because a good caser, Mark Martin hasn't seen Kyle Petty since his race started, but he knows who's the next fastest car.
That's it. Let's go down to Rusty's pit. Here's Ralph.
As far as the pit stops for Rusty Wallace, the crew is not slower. The problem is, as he tries to get down pit lane, there are so many cars on the lead lap that he gets hung up in traffic as he makes his way down pit lane. Glenn?
Well, Ralph, in Earnhardt's pits, they did make another chassis adjustment, one more round of wedge out, a slight air pressure adjustment. They said the last time they did it, it did improve the car. They're hoping for the same improvement this time. Mike?
Thanks, Glenn. We're getting ready to go back to green. Well, not this time, by. Going to be a lap or so of caution here. Jimmy Spencer's team is in. And you look at that new right front tire, you can see the sticker on the tread of the tire. The Goodyear sticker, that'll come off in about a lap or two. Get worn right off there. And, well, they found places to put decals we never thought they'd go. Upper control arm all over the place.
Happy birthday, Mom, down there. Yep. We always tell them they put the sticker tires on. That's exactly, look at the oil dry blowing up off the track. he heads back out there where they put that oil dry down the back straightaway.
And here's how they're running after 76 laps. That's Jimmy Spencer's third pit stop under this caution flag. We'll update you on that and other stories when we come back to Phoenix.
Cold filter, Miller Genuine Draft. For those who've discovered its smooth draft taste, the world is a very cool place.
But now I'm a man, way past 21.
Safety is something we all think about. Buick has considered the subject from many angles. So for frontal impacts, Buick Regal offers a driver's side airbag. And for side impacts, Regal meets 1997 government safety standards right now. 3 years in advance. Why has Buick put so much into Regal? Because you put so much into Regal. Regal from Buick, the new symbol for quality in America.
When you're a child on wheels, it seems like there's always someone or something there to stop you. But when you're an adult, you can't always depend on that. Which is why it's nice to know that no matter what you drive, import or domestic, you can depend on Pep Boys for the best brakes at the best price. And people who understand that there will always be times when you need someone to rely on. So when you need brakes, come to Pep Boys and drive away happy.
Robert, all we need here is some oil and we'll be ready to crank. Okay. Yes, give us suitcases. I have one. Yes, sir, right away. Robert, we're out. Get us suitcases and fly.
There's only one motor oil that Robert Yates Racing relies on for complete protection. Haviland Formula 3 from Texaco.
That was quick. Yeah, they had it right down the street.
The same Haviland Formula 3 you can use in your car.
Get a free Burger King meal when you buy a case of Haviland Formula 3. But hurry, a deal this tasty can't last long.
You're looking at the right front suspension on Jimmy Spencer's car, and things have changed a little bit there. He's made a couple of pit stops as we get one lap to go racing. And here is what they did.
We saw some debris flying a while ago. It was brake fluid. They've got a caliper bad. The guy right here is taking the brake line totally loose off the caliper, and it looked like he plugged it, buddy, like he took it off and left it loose and capped it.
Well, Neil, you know what'll happen there. When he puts the brakes on, the left front will lock up almost, and it'll make that car really drive bad.
And a tough break for Spencer, and as you heard Junior Johnson say, Spencer goes into the seat of the McDonald's Ford for next year, the number 27 car. Hut Strickland moves over to a brand new race team owned by Travis Carter that will get parts and rent shop space from Junior Johnson. And we'll show you a look at that brand new team a little later on today. Now, the number 12 car, Bobby Allison Racing, that Spencer drives right now, at present, has no driver and does not have a confirmed sponsor for next year. One of several teams in that situation.
Mike, we got Jeff Gordon leading the race right here. He changed 2 tires. We've been seeing everybody go with 4. This is the first time we've seen somebody try a 2-tire change. We'll have to see if it works out.
13th race that Jeff Gordon has led this year.
Well, I'm sure they're looking at track position more than anything else. If they lose a few spots from the start here, at least they're further up in the racetrack than they were when they're back in their 14th, 15th spot.
He's not going to lead for long. He drops down to the inside to shut off Mark Martin. But Martin's going to dive it in anyway in turn 3.
Yeah. 4 new tires will outrun 2 new ones anytime. They must have been going for track position like Buddy was talking about. What you got to do if you're Jeff Gordon, you got to run as hard as you've ever run for 4 or 5 laps till those other guys' tires get hot, and hope you're still right there in there with them.
You can see his car is about a half a lane higher than Mark Martin.
Trouble in one.
Andretti. That's Andretti down there, 72 car.
John Andretti had a top 10 here in the IndyCar race at Phoenix with the Harris Teeter car of Billy Hagan. John will drive that car for the next few seasons. It's in the fence. Back to the flag. Martin will lead with a caution. Rusty picks up a spot. No, he doesn't on Harry Ginn.
He got in that wall pretty hard. Came back down right in the racing groove.
There were a lot of cars in very close contact there when that one got started. Looks like a gremlin there, buddy.
Oh, boy, I tell you what, he made that. It was Harris Teeter before, now it's just Harris.
Boy, one of the cars right up in that loose stuff with him. And take a look like that to play devil, getting that thing straightened back out and ready to go again.
Look at these guys, what a driving job.
Whoa,
here.
look there, Labonte, Terry Labonte got hit in the front end, the rear and turned sideways going through that opening. We see Kenny Schrader right there. He's back out on the racetrack.
I bet Steve Grissom says everything that happens today is going to happen in front of me. He just barely missed that wreck then.
It has so far. Grissom in the Diamond Ridge Racing car, number 29. Fifth caution flag. Pace car led the most laps today? Not quite. We've had 20 laps of caution so far. We're
Elmo's in 14th.
Yes. Okay.
See, that does say Harris, just like I told you it did.
You're right. And there's a new logo on some of the records servicing the NASCAR races and a new program NASCAR announced today, the NASCAR Advantage Road Service Plan. Emergency towing, jump starts, tire changes, and they promise you pit stop-like service and response. And it's available to all NASCAR race fans. And there's a lot of extra benefits as well. It's a brand new plan called the NASCAR Advantage, and they have a toll-free number. To get a membership application, it's 1-800-41-NASCAR to get all the information. Pit stop-like service.
Turn this to Jimmy Spencer.
Get it? John Andretti, in 4 Winston Cup starts this season, has been involved in 3 crashes in North Wilkesboro, Rockingham, and here at Phoenix. Tough start.
Okay,
Buddy?
I'm going to try to get Jimmy Spencer on the radio. Jimmy Spencer, this is Buddy Baker, TNN.
Buddy, how you doing? We have a bad thing today. We lost a caliper in the right front. We have no brakes. We have eliminated the right front caliper, and the guys are going to try to fix it now. Feel real bad for the Meineke race team. You know, we had a good car today. Really thought we had a shot at winning this race, and now we're just going to try and get in and get the brakes fixed so we can at least have a good finish over.
Well, I hope they can fix it. It's good talking with you, man. Good luck.
Let's correct. Spencer is 1 lap down. I believe we reported him as 2. He lost 1 lap with that minute and 30-second stop. And now he cuts to pit road to try to get repairs made. Rick Wilson and Ken Schrader are also in the pit lane. There are 30 cars on the lead lap of the 43 starters. Jeff Bodine's in the garage as a result of a crash. Dirk Stevens has lost an engine. There is the right front on Spencer's car, and it goes behind the wall to complete repairs. You know, the first time we used this suspension cam, we shouldn't say this, nobody's going to want it anymore, but the first time we used it was at Rockingham, and the only car that hit the wall all day was Mark Martin. Hit it with the right front, right where the camera was. Where does Jimmy have trouble? Right where the camera is.
But this is a smart thing they're doing.
Oh,
they're
yes.
taking the car behind the wall, because here you use a lot of brakes getting in the 3rd corner and a lot of brakes in the number 1 corner. And that thing with just 1 wheel brake on the front, it's almost impossible to drive.
But see, everything on these race cars is safety wired. He's got a set of cutters there cutting the wiring off. Every bolt on these race cars has got holes drilled in them, safety wire, so they got some work to do before they can remove it.
Let's go to Glenn Jarrett.
Well, I'm in Mark Martin's pits. We've been talking about how well Mark has been running, and it's somewhat of a surprise to you guys, Steve.
Yeah, we struggled all day yesterday, had a little engine trouble, and the car wasn't driving good. We really thrashed on the car, and this morning we just got together and decided to do the best we could. You know, it's been a tough weekend. We need to maintain our spot in the points. The panel of experts here at Roush Racing, we didn't figure we were going to do very good. I guess Mark's carrying us. We've had some good pit stops, and it looks good right now, but if you'd have told me we'd run this good 2 hours ago, I'd have laughed at you.
Okay, Ralph?
The Meineke crew working on the car. Crew chief Jimmy Fennick with the new caliper in hand, ready to put it on.
So Spencer will lose some more laps on pit road, and you are there.
If you wonder how big of brakes they are on these race cars, that thing's just about the size used on small aircraft.
Yes.
I mean, these things have some gigantic rotors, calipers, and hooks that go in the brake pads. There's tremendous size, and they're metal to metal. It's a carbon metal type brake pad, and they just turn cherry red.
And they're limited by the size of the wheel. We're going to stay yellow for a lap or 2 here. In IMSA racing, they've gone to 17 and even 18-inch diameter wheels to get bigger brakes underneath. But in NASCAR, they run a 15-inch wheel, so you get as much as you can underneath there.
You see the width of it right there.
It's a big, thick pad that goes in there. While Spencer's crew makes repairs, we'll take this break as we're under caution at Phoenix. We'll be right back.
For this guy, any deodorant will do. But these guys need Speed Stick. Antiperspirant that gives 110%, even if you don't. 24-hour protection against wetness. And now Speed Stick deodorant has a powerful new formula to fight odor. Speed Stick. For movers and shakers, the #1, the only one.
It's all about getting inside the real person on the path to stardom. You'll share in the memories, the laughter, the solitude, family, and the excitement as dreams come true on the path to stardom. Backed by a legacy of country music, you'd think it'd be easy for Carlene Carter to realize her dreams. Not so, says this sassy singer-songwriter, on the path to stardom. Monday on TNN. Brought to you by Cracker Barrel Old Country Store.
While everyone talks about how racing technology makes their street cars better, there isn't a car company today that brings more race-winning technology to the street than Chevrolet.
TNN Motorsports exclusive coverage of the Slick 5500 is brought to you by Chevrolet, inviting you to see all the new Chevy cars for 1994. They've just waved the green flag. We're back to racing. Jimmy Spencer's car still being repaired behind the wall as Mark Martin hauls them down into turn #1. Jeff Gordon and Ernie Irvan behind him.
There's Kyle Petty, the car that Mark Martin had some concern for, right there in 4th place and coming to the lead.
Just moving past Ron Hornaday Jr., the Southwest Tour champ at number 76. And then Bill Elliott. And then Harry Gant working, imagine that, on the outside.
See Jeff Gordon there, he's battling for his life because he took on 2 tires and the other cars took on 4, but it kind of helped out when they had that caution there. It kind of brought the cars and cooled the tires where he's in pretty good shape now. Look at Kyle Petty come into play here.
A lot of smoke out of one car, turn 3. Looks like he's going to get it down to the apron, and very little slipping and sliding. Mike Chase. Rusty Wallace and Dale Earnhardt, for the first time today, are within eyesight of one another. Wallace is 7th, Earnhardt 9th. Mike Chase goes to the garage without incident.
Wallace was trying to get around Harry Gant. Earnhardt's trying to get around Sterling Marlin. They're both trying to get on up front.
Here's Glenn.
Well, Brent Bodine has been running in the top 10 all day. We find him behind the wall now. Brent, what's wrong?
Well, it looks like some kind of debris come up off the racetrack and put a cut in the bottom radiator hose, you know. Real tough break. This is the best showing we've had out here at Phoenix, and, you know, even with my injury and all, we were running up front, and it just felt real good to be up there running. Quaker State forward, we'll get them next time.
How does that new pavement feel?
I'll tell you, it's really great. A lot of great traction out there, and the race is real competitive.
Okay, Mike.
Brent Bodine behind the wall. As you saw Kyle Petty make the pass on Ernie Irvan. And here comes Earnhardt underneath Sterling Marlin. Rusty Wallace just ahead.
That's pretty impressive. 27th to 3rd already for Kyle Petty.
I think of Kyle getting the job. Now he's going around up to 2nd place. You see up front of there, he went around right up under Jeff Gordon. When Mark got that call a while ago, the 42 was the next best car. They had a pretty good read on the situation. Here he comes.
We'll see him now straight in his rearview mirror, about half a straightaway back.
Irvin trying to take advantage of that inside line. There he goes. He's also made the pass.
You think all these cars are going to be painted black next year?
They can't do that, Doug.
Well, it's been the way to be up front.
Well, I know one that'll be a nice, pretty pink next year. Congratulations, Neil.
Thank you, buddy.
We look forward to watching you next year run some.
Yeah, get to run a few races. Looking forward to it.
Neil's going to run 6 races in the Country Time car. They're going to run a limited schedule. and start with the Daytona 500, and you're going to get to run at Indianapolis.
Yeah,
that's great.
That's a big thing. I wanted to go to Indy, so we put the program together. James Finch, some help with the 4-car and 3-car. We're going to see if we can run some races.
And the car is going to be pink lemonade?
Yeah, and I'll have you a little pink suit probably. I'll be ready.
Oh, you're going to be so cute.
Oh, thank you.
You're going to look like the Energizer Bunny. They give you a pink suit.
I might get energized.
Here's your Napa Field standing update. Napa, we keep America running. Shows you where your favorite driver is at 90 laps.
Boy, Gant got outside a little bit, and Earnhardt and the 1-car Rick Mast went around him.
Jimmy Spencer was in the pits for 5 minutes, 52 seconds. He's now back on track.
There's Bill Elliott. He's pulling up on that 24-car himself. Right along with Rusty.
4th place at stake here. Mark Martin's lead on Kyle Petty diminishing a little bit. It's about 2 3/4 seconds.
Yeah, while they were battling, Mark got a big lead on him, but Kyle's whittling away at that thing.
I believe if you watch Jeff Gordon's car, he's having a little bit of handling problems. I bet he won't do that anymore. Even at the track position, he'll take on 4 when everybody else does.
Yeah, if you don't pay that price immediately, you pay it 30 or 40 laps along. Those tires get a lot more wear than the rest of the car. So if things go true to form, he should fade a little bit quicker than the rest of these cars.
Kyle Petty's knocking about 1/10 of a second a lap out of Mark Martin's lead. We'll pick up on that in a bit once he gets closer. For now, we'll stay right here. We're at 4th place. Jeff Gordon is holding off Bill Elliott for the moment.
See, that's what we're talking about this racetrack. There's Elliott. He got down there to try to get on that 24. Ooh, Rusty and him got together off that corner. He got down there to try to pass the 24, and the 2 almost got around him on the outside.
Yeah, he paid for that move. Sterling Marlin got up under Rusty and made the pass. Now there's Earnhardt up on the back of Rusty Wallace's car.
Report from Jeff Gordon's pit. He took on only 2 tires because they'd only run 8 laps since the previous caution, and he wanted to get out front quickly enough so he could lead a lap, pick up 5 points.
That's a good call on that point. They did exactly what they wanted to do.
Well, he's in 11th in the standings. He's only 10 points behind Ricky Rudd going into today's race, so they're counting bonus points here like everybody else.
Yeah, and you don't get to go to the banquet if you're not in the top 10, so he's working really hard to get to go to that banquet.
And Harry Gant's only 1 point behind him.
Everybody wants to be at center stage, but it's nice to be able to sit there and at least see the stage in that top 10.
That graphic we just showed you. Right now, Rusty, who came into this race 70 points ahead of Earnhardt, would gain only 3. They finish in these positions. Here's Ralph.
This is a list of all the different sets of tires that Rusty Wallace has. These 3 over here are supposedly the best 3 sets they have. They'll save those for the later part of the day. This, in fact, is one of the tires from set number 8. This number right here is a batch number. They have pulled these 3 sets aside because they say this batch is the best of the bunch, even though all the compounds are the same. Now, Neil Bonnet, how different can one particular batch be over another if all the compounds are exactly the same?
Well, through the course of building all these tires, they come with the same, supposedly the same compound, the same tire number for every team. But when they'll find one set that'll run a little bit better, it's no different than somebody making a cake. One of them might taste a little bit better with the ingredients you put in it. For some reason, they think that batch came out better. They can't make all the tires at one time, so out of batch numbers, and they'll work with stuff like that.
It's also a rubber compound, and when it sits around for a month before they use it, sometimes it hardens up just a little bit more than a batch that's made a month later.
Just like that fresh cake, the one that's 2 months old. So these guys look for every angle they can to try to find a little bit of an edge.
While you guys are at work in the kitchen, Mark Martin's leading this race over Kyle Petty.
Well, he's got it cooking. What the heck?
Yeah, Kyle Petty, Ernie Irvan, and Bill Elliott. Harry Gant made a big announcement a few weeks ago about his plans for 1994 and beyond as Harry runs around Phoenix.
Well, the first plan is going to win a lot of races, but I'm going to be real busy in 94 with our farewell tour and appearances and everything. So that'll be my last year, and I'm going to be really busy. So we're looking forward to 94.
The average Grand Prix lasts but a few hours, unless it's a Grand Prix started with a genuine Delco Freedom battery. Delco's rated tops for taking the pole position in starting power and excelling in reserve capacity. Helps keep your engine in the race for a longer, more reliable life.
AC Delco. It's like buying time. Now through December 4th, get started with up to $14 cash back on Delco Freedom batteries.
This is the perfect time to try my new Polaroid Captiva. Smile!
Hey, where's the picture? There's no picture? Did you see the picture come out? How can that be a Polaroid camera if there's no picture?
It doesn't look like a Polaroid camera.
It's not a Polaroid camera.
Introducing the new Polaroid Captiva. It's sleek, it's stylish. Its pocket-sized pictures stay in a special compartment till you take them out, so you're free to shoot and shoot.
Maybe if you shake it. Yeah, shake the camera.
The new Polaroid Captiva. The pictures stay in till you take them out.
How do you know which motor oil to buy? They all look alike, they feel alike. You can't see them working in your engine. Well, first you ask the people who know cars best. ASC certified master technicians. And then you ask them which oil they put in their own cars. More top mechanics use Valvoline than any other brand of motor oil. Valvoline can help cars go 100, 200, 300,000 miles and more. So before you buy oil for your car, know the one more top mechanics put in theirs.
People who know use Valvoline.
Elvira here, Mistress of the Dark and sometimes Surfer Babe, because Coors Light is the official beer of Halloween, and the party's at the beach, Malibu Beach, where you can hang ten. Look, Frankie and Annette. And of course, when it's time to chill, just reach for that cooler of Coors Light. Aged ice cold, never frozen stiff. It's the right beer now for Halloween. Just look for the Silver Bullet smooth display and dig up your friends now for a party at the beach. Happy Halloween, dude.
108 laps complete here at Phoenix. Mark Martin has a lead of 2.3 seconds. Next Sunday, the Patrick 500 from Hickory, North Carolina. For the second year in a row, TNN will televise the last scheduled Busch race of this 1993 season. However, we remind you that back in March, the Slick 5300 Atlanta was snowed out, and they will run that in conjunction with the Winston Cup race in a couple of weeks. But next weekend, we're live at Hickory for the last short track shootout of the Busch Series.
And talk about a shootout at Hickory. We were up there testing Tuesday, and they're running about 3/10 of the track record with the new tires and everything. It's going to be quite a show at Hickory, and then right again in Atlanta.
Is David going to run there?
He's trying to. We were up there testing all week, and we'll get things organized.
Folks, David's his son. I'm talking like everybody knows everybody here, but David Bonnet's a pretty good race car driver. He's third fastest qualifier at Rockingham.
Here's a pretty good little race car driver. Look at Elliott. He's got that thing on that 24, but he's, you know, all week long you could sense it with these guys. They're wanting to win a race. Not only want to, they need to.
That's it.
And I mean, they're going for it today.
And it's a beer battle out of turn 2 as Rusty's right up on the back bumper of Elliott.
Which way do you go? Rusty's saying inside, outside. Looks like this inside will be a little bit better.
Yeah.
And now the 24 has a nice option to move back 3 positions.
Take 3 steps backward. This is 8 seconds behind the race leader, Mark Martin. Brett Bodine is back out onto the track after making repairs, as is Jimmy Spencer. They're going to move up on Loy Allen Jr. in the Country Time car. Drops that Ford down to the inside.
See Darrell Waltrip trying to get up under Earnhardt there.
I'm telling you, all week long, Waltrip has been a real stout race car.
He's been good here. Here's Jeff Gordon, who started 9th. See his progression up and down the field. You talk about Waltrip, who's in the back of that pack. His last 4 finishes here.
Whoa, Sterling, you just about off the farm there, kid.
He tried to go inside the 24, but he hadn't cleared that car on the left yet. Hung that left rear quarter on him and about turned him around. You know, you try to thread that needle all the time, but sometimes you miss.
Yes. Now, Waltrip there was 3rd here last year. His last 4 finishes at Phoenix, 4th, 4th, 2nd, and 3rd. He is a contender here. Let's show you this again. Well, let's show you this. Here it is.
Watch the 8 car. He's going to try to turn on the 24 and cut across in front of the 71 and get in that little bit open. But the 71's coming up a little bit. He's going to hang that quarter panel. Didn't look that bad from this angle, but straight on. He wiggled it pretty good off that corner.
That 71 is Terry Fisher, one of the West Coast drivers.
Look at Earnhardt sitting there saying, "Don't do this, man."
Yeah, that's a better angle.
Yeah, it looks a little bit different from that side.
Wow. Let's check with Len.
Well, with Ray Evernham, that's Jeff Gordon's crew chief, and Ray, the car seems to be backing up a little bit. Is it because of the decision to only change 2 tires, or you got a problem?
No, no problem. It's exactly what it is. We chose to take 2 tires. We needed to lead the race and hope for track position. Our car's pretty good on 4 tires, so I think we'll be all right. We're going to slide back a little bit, but it's still early yet.
He's right. It's very early. He's got a lot of time to make up for that.
Rusty Wallace is back on the move. He had given up a spot to Sterling Marlin, but he has just passed Bill Elliott on the low side going into turn number 3. Lou Wallace back up into 4th place behind Mark Martin, Kyle Petty, and Ernie Irvan.
Well, he got a run off that corner, drove right by Elliott.
At Phoenix, 116 laps complete. And we'll be right back after this.
Next week on TNN Country News, country celebration for Garth Brooks and Sammy Kershaw. Plus, Tanya Tucker shows her stuff on stage.
TNN Country News, weeknights.
It comes specially equipped with dual airbags, cruise control, air conditioning, 4-speaker AM/FM cassette stereo, and power accessories like luxury sedans costing twice the money. The 1994 Nissan Altima GXE. It not only defines what a luxury car should be, it redefines what a luxury car should cost. Lease the Altima for just $750 down and $229 a month for 36 months.
Speedway, the South's fastest short track. DeSoto Speedway, the South's fastest short track, has something for you every Saturday night. And it's awesome. Late model sportsman, open wheel modified, straight stock, modified minis, your stock minis, and a limited schedule of pro figure.
Join me, Rusty Wallace, Ernie Irvan, Cale Yarborough, Jimmy Spencer, and Rick Wilson Saturday, November 6th for the exciting Granger Select Race of Champions at DeSoto Speedway. Come early for the autograph session. See you there.
A fire on car number 86, Rich Woodland. Brings it down to a halt in turn 1. It caught fire at turn 4 after something let go in the engine, and he brought it down to a safe stop at the apron of turn number 1, and you can see he's going to climb out and be okay after a fiery ride down the front straightaway.
Exit stage lift as
what he's doing right now, some of the belts are hung up. You see him trying to get out. He's okay, folks. It's just one of those deals. You get in a hurry when that thing gets warm.
Looked like radio gear and his drink tube and maybe the sternum latch up there on that shoulder harness. But he's okay.
Yeah, this thing really cuts loose coming off the corner, and that's got to be oil dropping on the headers. And there we go. It lights off. See a lot of sparks on there. Set it off.
And look inside the car as he gets a little further down.
You know, that's when you appreciate the safety factor of the gas tank, the rubber bladder and all that we use for a gas tank.
A lot of smoke coming out of that cockpit of that car. They try to seal them up as best they can, but
a lot of times when you have that much fire under a car, the floorboard itself will catch on fire, the paint on the floorboard.
They used to have a rubber shifter boot on these cars until a fellow named Neil Bonnet went to Bill Simpson and said, we need one out of Nomex so we don't get flame up through that shifter hole.
Yeah, I had one at Daytona catch on fire, and that shifter melted in about 2 seconds.
Let me tell you, if anybody ought to know, Neil ought to know. He had everything happen, folks.
Right. Well, thank you, buddy. I'm a test man.
I guess we won't tell you that was the National Cold Storage car that caught all fired up there.
I saw it.
We won't tell you that.
Now, look, see, here's Rusty.
Rusty
clothes coming out of the pits.
And that's just what Buddy Parrott was talking about. He's coming out as other cars on the lead lap are coming in.
It's no secret that 2 car has been just killing everybody in the pits, beating them. But where they're having to stop, it's not helping them a bit today. They're losing time down pit road.
Well, but he did get out in front of Mark Martin, though.
Yeah, but Kyle Petty was right in front of him.
That's right.
Not quite in the shot. And Kyle was the guy that he was concerned with, that Mark Martin was concerned with, and Kyle beat him out.
Neil, what brand of car are you run next year?
Run Chevrolets next year.
What Larry from Michigan wanted to know.
Yeah, we're going to get some stuff from the 4 team and the 3 team, see what we can do with it.
Boy, oh boy, that's a bad pantry to go to.
Oh, yeah. Look at Childress reared back here. He said, man, we got to get this thing going a little bit.
Bit of speedy dry down the front straightaway. We'll show you a top 10. And we'll ask you again if you can identify what's wrong with the picture the Polaroid folks are going to show you, and see if you can win a trip to the Daytona 500 or a 2-night trip for 2 to Captiva.
What's wrong with this picture?
Hi, I'm Shauna Robinson.
And I'm Aaron Tippett.
You've got to check out the Polaroid Captiva Photo Fakeout. If you send in the correct entry, you can win big. And one grand prize winner will win a dream trip for 2 to Daytona 500 and 2 nights at Captiva Island.
3 winners will win a 2-night trip for 2 to beautiful Captiva Island, Florida. And we'll go to dinner with you and a guest in Daytona.
And there's more.
Prizes include Polaroid Captiva cameras and Aaron Tippin's CD catalog, including his latest release, Call of the Wild. Race fans, if you can spot what's wrong with this picture, call 1-900-820-4TNN to enter. Each call costs 90 cents per call. No phone call is necessary to win. Or send your answer along with your name, address, and phone number to this address. This sweepstakes is brought to you by Polaroid.
Robert, we're ready.
Okay. Got it warmed up?
Yeah.
Before a Robert Yates engine makes it to the track, it's torture tested right here.
Well, let's do it.
And there's only one motor oil Yates relies on for complete protection. Haviland Formula 3. The same Haviland Formula 3 you can buy right off the shelf.
215 degrees, 8,700.
That's race ready.
Haviland Formula 3 motor oil from Texaco.
It's running like a winner. That'll get the job done.
The average Grand Prix lasts but a few hours, unless it's a Grand Prix started with a genuine Delco Freedom battery. Delco's rated tops for taking the pole position in starting power and excelling in reserve capacity helps keep your engine in the race for a longer, more reliable life.
AC Delco. It's like buying time. Now through December 4th, get started with up to $14 cash back on Delco Freedom batteries.
A service to the race fans here at Phoenix. Get around this 1-mile oval. Fan Tram.
Only way to travel,
I guess.
That's pretty neat. They need that everywhere.
Jack Roush has had a walk up pit road. He's now standing at the Bill Elliott pit, talking to Mark Martin on the radio, but he was going to come up and have a word with the Wally Dallenbach crew. They had the hood up, but they've sent Wally back out into the race. Buddy?
Mark, this is Buddy Baker at TNN.
Yeah, make it quick here. We're fixing to go back to green.
Okay, man. We noticed you're doing a little chassis change in there. Everything okay?
It's pretty good. We're trying to get it just a little bit better. Kyle's pretty good on long runs. We're real good on short runs, but trying to get it to where to run a little bit better on a long run.
Okay, man. Good luck to you.
Thanks, man.
Mark Martin has been the class of the field so far today. Rick Mast is the leader. It's the 4th time that the Skoal Ford has led this year. He was 10th coming into the pits and came out first. Jimmy Hensley's back in the race in the Kodak car after a 36.5-minute repair stop to the left rear of the Morgan McClure machine. Kyle Petty in second behind Rick Mast, Mark Martin, Rusty Wallace, Ernie Irvan. As we get ready for the restart, Wallace is 4th. Earnhardt is 10th among the contenders for the Winston Cup.
Boy, that little conversation with Mark Martin was a good example of the way he thinks. He had a car leading the race, and he's reading that thing. He knows it goes away a little bit in long runs. He's more concerned about getting long runs under that car where he can outrun people at the end of these tire stops. So we're going to see Mark work on that thing the rest of the day, it looks like.
We're going to watch this restart from our Ray Bestis helicopter-mounted aerial cam. Ray Bestis, best in brakes. Bringing you these pictures as Rick Mast on the outside of Brett Bodine brings the field down to the green flag. And we're back to racing. Lead lap cars in the outside lane.
Well, I tell you, Rick Mast got a good start on that thing. That 42 winding up behind him now.
We're going to see who's got the muscle right at this part of the race. You see the 6th car following Kyle Petty there. Boy, oh boy. That looked like a little looseness there to me.
They said they took a little bit of bite out of that 6 car. Took some bite out of it to see what it'd do to it.
Here's Earnhardt with Bobby Labonte.
Boy, Labonte got hung out there pretty wide. And that white stuff just says, no, do not get out here. He had those right side wheels out in it.
And here's Kyle Petty challenging Rick Mast for the lead.
Mark's going to get that opportunity to see how he can handle that 42 car now.
And Kyle Petty is the 8th different leader today. Off turn 2, Mark Martin wants second place from Rick Mast.
He's got that inside line. I believe he's got enough motor to do it where the thing has been jumping off these corners.
Yeah, Mark straightened it out there just a little bit and kind of took that groove away.
8th place.
Look at Earnhardt make that dive. I don't believe he's going to get that Sterling that easy. Now he's up under him.
That's where his
7th.
That's where his car's been off, Mike. You know, we've been looking at that thing. He can turn under people there, but when he gets in the gas, he can't get off that corner. But like you were talking about, it looks like the car's tight.
How do you correct for that?
They just got to keep taking bite out, working with air pressure, and it's just you're almost afraid to go too much at one time. But it looks like they're going to do some cranking on it.
Well, anytime you do anything on a car, you're trying to balance it better for the racetrack, and they'll just keep tweaking until they get it as good as they can get it, and then they'll have to just take what they get from there on.
There's the 8 car, Sterling Marlin up on the inside of Jeff Gordon. They almost got together, go through the dog leg. There again, Derek Cope on the outside.
Dale Jarrett up under there.
And Steve Grissom.
That outside groove don't look like it's very fast through 3 and 4 there.
On our 800 number, Tracy from New Hampshire wants to know what it might take for Rusty to take the point lead here. And the stats we have show that if Rusty would win the race and Earnhardt would finish 19th or worse, the point lead could change. Oh, Jeff Gordon. Woo. In the fence. Caution flag. Kyle Petty, first super speedway race he has led since Talladega in July.
You know, that was a smart thing there. The 2 cars know the yellow come out.
Axle's out of Jeff's car, it looks like.
Well, that looks like he might knock the track bar over too, Mike. You know, that rear track bar. Yeah, it is. Track bar's broken off.
You see the car drifting around there. Nothing to hold back end together there.
Yeah, that bar
trying to move around.
The bar centers up the body and the frame on the rear housing. It's just broken off. Ooh, me, sideways coming at you.
Is that what a sports car type's called, pannered rod?
Yeah, pannered bar.
Okay, just checking.
Okay, if you sports type out there, it's a pannered bar broke off the rear of this car. I tell you, talk about a mean thing to try to get back. It's like driving a hook and ladder truck and you don't have the steering wheel.
My daddy says that looked like a country dog going to town there.
Oh, it's a shame, man. And we were just talking before that points. Yep. He's right in it. You know, it's gonna...
Yeah, he's 11th in the points, just behind Ricky Rudd and just ahead of Harry Gant.
Get down here in the corner. There's 24 on the outside. There goes Earnhardt up the track. Car slide up. Got right in the back of him. Turned him around there.
Not a lot unlike the incident with Schrader.
Look at Bobby Labonte go underneath there. Todd Bodine locks up the brakes there.
Michael Waltrip in the yellow car.
Been talking about the 3 car. Had some push in it all day. Looked like it pushed right up. Got right in the side of it.
Wow. That's a bad break for Jeff Gordon. He was running so well.
I'll tell you, that was a quick move by Bobby Labonte there.
Yeah, because, I mean, all he had to do is stack in the back of there, and about 15 more hit them.
Gordon has gone to the garage. And they are pitted pretty far away.
It's going to take a while for him to get to the garage to work on the car.
Bobby Hillin, Ken Schrader, Wally Dallenbach, and Rick Corelli on pit road. During this caution, here are the leaders. So as we're under caution here for the 7th time today, Kyle Petty leads Mark Martin, Rusty Wallace, Rick Mast, and Ernie Irvan. And we asked Ricky Rudd how the progress is going on his building a brand new race team for 1994.
Oh, we're real pleased. We're gonna run a Ford next year. Tide will also be the colors on the car as they have been for the last couple of years for me. So we're real proud to have Tide with us. The only difference right now will be a number change on the car. It'll be car number 10, and Rudd Performance Motorsports will be listed as the owner. We're still working with some associates. We should have one on board by Daytona, but nothing signed as of yet.
Do you add a tip when you pay your taxes? Use lots of stamps when you only need one? Well, your brand is probably on this table, next to mine. Both brands protect to 84 below zero. Boil-over protection? Identical. And both protect all metals. There is one important difference. Either this one costs about $1 more, or this one costs about $1 less. Peak. Maximum everything except the price.
Hey, use a spark plug that's tested to fire clean for 30,000 miles. Motorcraft. Motorcraft quality parts from Ford.
Next Sunday, live only on TNN Motorsports, Busch Grand National returns to North Carolina's Hickley Motor Speedway, and it's crunch time. With the points race on the line, Busch drivers will be pushing their cars right to the edge as they try to capture not only the checkered flag, but a possible season championship. With one race to go, it's do or die. The Pantry 500 next Sunday, live only on TNN Motorsports.
In IndyCar racing, when it rains, we don't race on super speedways. But we're running this IndyCar on Goodyear Eagle GSC street radials to prove a point. What's the point? Outstanding wet traction. Eagle GSC, only from Goodyear.
Live exclusive coverage of the Slick 5500 on the Nashville Network is brought to you by Goodyear, #1 in tire. You see, the backstretch of this racetrack is not straight. It's a looping, curving backstretch on this D-shaped racetrack. They've just restarted this race, and Mark Martin is the car that has just taken the lead from Kyle Petty on the outside at turn number 3.
Whatever chassis adjustment they made on that 6 car really made that car handle. He passed the 42 car on the outside going in third corner. I hadn't seen that done all day.
Now, right before we was talking about that dog leg, he got a good run on the outside. He just drove around him going in the middle of the corner. Hard to do here.
And we've had several calls on the 800 number about what gear ratio the car is running, what rear end ratio they run on this flat mile track. And a lot of the teams don't like to talk about that, folks. We can't much tell you because, you know, that's one of their strategies. What springs you run, what, you know, it's a little bit more obvious. But what pump can you put in that center section of that rear end? A lot of folks don't like to let on and don't like to know how much RPM that they are running.
No, and you know, how you run to the points is one thing that can dictate what gear you got in. Yeah. Mark Martin, he's sitting there twisting his motor out of the frame, going to win the race. 42 right there is probably turning it hard. Some of these guys have got to weigh it out and evaluate, do I risk blowing it up today? I know they got to finish racing, so a lot of things enter into what gear you put in the car.
It's a double-edged sword. You raise RPM, you lower reliability. No two ways about it.
The fuse gets shorter.
Yeah, that puts it much better.
Yes.
Here's Ralph.
Jeff Gordon waiting patiently in his car. Jeff, what happened to you?
I don't know. You know, the 3 car and myself were racing, and really, I know he's going for a championship. I'm not going to try to stop him. I mean, I was falling back. He clearly got underneath me, and for some reason, he got in my left rear. I don't know what happened, but sent us in the wall, and he's still out there.
The car is just damaged in the rear panhard bar. As soon as they get that fixed, Jeff will return.
They had a long run from the turn 1 end of pit road back to the garage area to get that door fixed. Mark Martin by 3 car lengths over Kyle Petty, Rusty Wallace, Ernie Irvan. Bill Elliott is 5th, Rick Mast is 6th, Darrell Waltrip 7th, Sterling Marlin 8th, and Bobby Labonte in the 9th spot.
Neil, the 6 car made a big pass a while ago in 3, but he said that the 42 car was good in long runs, and you see him start to close the gap in a little bit here, and he's running a little bit lower through the corners. Looks like the car may be handling just a little bit better than Mark Martin's car.
Yeah, and I tell you what, I think the racetrack's going to change a little bit. Since we started this race, we've had overcast, a little bit of cloud cover all day. Now we got some sun on the racetrack. So, I mean, now they've been catering it to that overcast condition. Now they got to go back the other way.
Dale Earnhardt is the 10th place car. Mike Waltrip, Hut Strickland, then Dick Trickle, and the Citgo Ford of Morgan Shepherd. At 14th position, that's Ricky Rudd on the inside. Now Todd Bodine made a couple of stops. But Lake Speed, Harry Gant, Dale Jarrett, and Steve Grissom are wrapped up in that one. Todd Bodine is 3 laps down in the 75 car, the factory stores Ford of Butch Mock.
Watching that 75 car, they got an extremely soft right front spring in that car. The whole front of the car was dragging the ground going in the corner. Look at this, Neil.
Yeah, they got the big ground clearance up there running 5 inches. And when they go down in this corner, they're dragging the ground. So, and you got to keep in mind, it's a flat racetrack. You're not pulling a lot of G's or anything. The chassis just as soft as traveling that much.
Trying to lap past Todd Bodine there. That's Lake Speed in the Bud Moore car. Harry Gant, Dale Jarrett, Steve Grissom. Pick up the race for 6th place. Back behind Bill Elliott. Rick Mass, Darrell Waltrip, Sterling Marlin, Bobby Labonte, Dale Earnhardt.
There's Waltrip. He's been working his way to the front. I can't help but think before the day's over, he'll be a stronger player than this because just consistently turning out good laps.
This battle's about 4 seconds behind the leader. Eight different drivers have led this race today. Dick Trickle, Mark Martin, Rusty Wallace, Sterling Marlin, Ernie Irvan, Jeff Gordon, Rick Mast, and Kyle Petty. Now there's Elliott. He's about 1 3/4 seconds behind 4th place Ernie Irvan and just ahead of this pack. Sterling on the bottom again.
Before they repaved this track last year, once you made that move to the inside, you pretty well had that pass made. But as we talked about earlier, that outside lane is good now.
Several calls on our 800 line. We'll give you that number again. Toll free, it's 1-800-451-7331 if you have a question. And there have been a lot of them about Stanley Smith, the driver who was injured at Talladega. As we watch this race between Hut Strickland for 12th place, Dick Trickle, Morgan Shepherd, and Ricky Rudd. But Stanley Smith is at home. He goes to Lakeshore Rehabilitation Hospital in Birmingham in the morning, rehabbing for muscle injuries sustained from his head injuries, and he works with his family business in the afternoon. But Stanley Smith is well on the way to recovery. Certainly we all wish him well, and we're glad so many fans are concerned about it.
You bet on that.
UNAPA Field standing update. Where your favorite driver is at 143 laps.
You know, Hut Strickland, we see the 27 car here. At the first of the race, he really moved up when they dropped the green, and now he's back in 12th place. Going outside of there, Morgan Shepherd coming up under him. Looked like his car was really good when the race first started.
Morgan Shepherd has just been phenomenal this year. He's always up in the top 10 when the race is over. He's running the car quite well this year.
I'll tell you, I think with Eddie Wood, Lynn Wood, Leonard, and all those guys, the more they work together, the more that thing will gel. There's no doubt Morgan's won races with different teams, and I'm telling you, this car right here is plenty capable of winning races.
Watching Dick Trickle. Larry Hendrick Mannheim auction car, and now Shepherd tries the high side, and Ricky Rudd moves in.
I don't think Trickle's got this car handling like he wants it yet, Neil. You notice he pulled way over on the inside going through the corner there instead of letting the car move out just a little bit. Now he's up high. One corner he's low, next corner he's high. I think his car is giving him a hard time.
Tell you what he does, he gets a good jump off that corner. Motor seems to really accelerate that off the corner. Right in the middle, like you're talking about, but he's not just knocking off like you want to.
Take you back up to the race for fifth. Bill Elliott, Rick Mast, Darrell Waltrip, Sterling Marlin, Bobby Labonte, and Dale Earnhardt drifted back a bit from that battle in 10th place. Here's the way they're running at Phoenix. 152 laps. 4 laps from halfway in the Slick 5500. TNN's live coverage continues after this.
The other day I get in my car, won't start. No small problem, right? Well, I figure it's the battery, so I go down to the AutoZone and I tell him what I need. The guy says to me, let's check your old one first. It might not be the problem. Turns out he was right. All I needed was a new battery cable. Talk about saving money. Now you tell me, would another parts store done that? They made sure I got exactly what I needed. Now I'll remember that. Believe me, I will.
Where you see a close encounter, Ford sees a way to make braking safer for you. Where you see a crowded corner, Ford sees ways to make cornering more secure. It's why we race. Every time you see Ford take home another trophy, Ford has seen ways to win something far more important: every driver's confidence. Have you driven a Ford lately?
In IndyCar racing, when it rains, we don't race on super speedways. But we're running this IndyCar on Goodyear Eagle GSC street radials to prove a point. What's the point? Outstanding wet traction. Eagle GSC, only from Goodyear.
The Texas Tornado.
Hey, baby, que paso?
And Tish Hinojosa.
Where the winding river runs by.
It's a hot Tex-Mex night. The Texas Connection from Fiesta, Texas. Monday.
Riding along with Mark Martin as they take the halfway sign. Smoker down in turn 1.
Hut Strickland's car.
Oh.
Yeah, he's pulling way the inside.
Yeah, looks like they left the Friolator on too long.
He just knocked it out of gear. He had a tremendous amount of smoke coming out of it. The question was there any oil in the middle of that corner? They're going through that area right now.
And it looks like everything's okay, so we'll stay green here. We've had 7 caution flags thus far for 32 laps. As Darrell Waltrip moves around Loy Allen Jr. He started 21st. You can see Waltrip's march toward the front. He's now the 7th place car.
Mike, they said the 27 did drop a valve coming off that corner.
And Strickland apparently doesn't think it's terminal. He did not take the car to the garage. Instead, he has come to pit road.
Neil, if that was a valve, they got a lot more than just a valve. A valve don't smoke.
Oh, yeah. Well, probably dropped it and swallowed it through the piston or something. But, boy, it did go away, didn't it?
Yeah, they're pushing it back to go in behind the wall now.
There's what we saw a few laps earlier as they went that corner.
Go ahead. You see this right here? The motor's smoking a little bit. Watch it right here. That's where it really turned loose.
Hut Strickland will leave this team at the end of 1993. Jimmy Spencer will drive that car. Here is Strickland's new ride, Smokin' Joe's Racing. Camel Cigarettes will sponsor the Travis Carter-owned team, car number 23. They rolled this car out on the parade lap this morning. Now Hut Strickland will be the driver.
That's like a spotted dog. You'll have to get used to looking at that.
It's a unique color scheme, to be sure.
They're going in the garage. That thing terminal, I believe. And I tell you what, we're watching Mark Martin lead by a tremendous amount. When he made that call earlier, said, hey, we need to loosen this car up some. There he was leading the race, but he felt like he needed a better for long runs. Bad news, folks. He bettered it.
Mark Martin is 3rd in the points, 1st in the race. Rusty Wallace is 9th. This man, Dale Earnhardt, is 10th. Let's go to Glenn.
Well, we came to Earnhardt's pit to find out what his problem was. The car just not handling the way they wanted to. Richard Childress told me the car is way too tight. They set the car up yesterday afternoon under clear, sunny skies. The racetrack was warm. They set the car up to combat those conditions. Today it's cloudy and overcast. The track is cooler. The car is just simply way too tight. They can't take enough wedge out of it to loosen it up. They're going to have to do something else. They're talking right now about exactly what that's going to be.
And Glenn, as the folks at home saw on the graphic, the way Earnhardt's running now, he could not clinch the title today. He needs a 186-point lead over Wallace to put it completely away. Right now, it's only a 36-point margin based on where they're running at the moment.
Looks like Derek Cope's car just went away going in turn 3. So the right front tire went away on him, Mike. He's got a flat.
Cope comes to pit road as we're at 163 laps. 26 cars still on the lead lap. And we asked Travis Carter, who right now works for Bud Moore on Lake Speed's team, about next year.
A lot of exciting things happening for us. We've just announced that Camel Cigarettes will be our new sponsor. Name of Smoking Joe's race team. We'll be campaigning a Ford Thunderbird. Hud Strickland will be our driver. And we're in the process of building a brand new race team for that. Really looking forward to the future.
Next Sunday on TNN Motorsports. Okay, how about some service? Fill her up and give me a new set of tires. Come on, I'm in a hurry here. It's the World Championship Pit Crew competition next Sunday on TNN Motorsports.
Dress your home or business in a festive glow this holiday season with a visit to the Silk Warehouse. The Silk Warehouse has a wondrous selection of Christmas items, including lights, wreaths, garland, ornaments, and more. Our forest of trees is a size and style just right for you. And with our staff of designers, be assured that if we don't have exactly what you're looking for, we'll make it for you. There's a world of decorating ideas waiting for you this holiday season at the Silk Warehouse.
Speedway, the South's fastest short track. DeSoto Speedway, the South's fastest short track, has something for you every Saturday night. And it's awesome. Late model sportsman, open wheel modified, straight stock, modified minis, your stock minis, and a limited schedule of pro figure.
Join me, Rusty Wallace, Ernie Irvin, Cale Yarborough, Jimmy Spencer, and Rick Wilson Saturday, November 6th for the exciting Granger Select Race of Champions at DeSoto Speedway. Come early for the autograph session. See you there.
Welcome back to Phoenix. I'm Mike Joy with Neil Bonnet and Buddy Baker, Glenn Jarrett, and Ralph Shaheen. On pit road today, Ernie Irvin and Rusty Wallace have been going at it. The only two guys to win in the last 6 Winston Cup races.
Yeah, the 28 car was able to get around Rusty, and Buddy, just like you were talking about, he didn't give a lot of resistance. Saw him running down, he let him go on by.
Well, I'm sure Rusty's aware that Earnhardt's having problems right now, and that's going to be hard to cure. When you set a car up for a real slick condition, you have a cool day like this, it'll take a rubber in the right rear spring or something like that to really drastically change that car for him to get back in the race.
And it looks like the sun's going back behind the cloud.
I'll tell you what it looks like. Look at the 28 here, Mike. He's pulling up behind Kyle Petty. Those two guys here are really closing in on Kyle, and he had a pretty good lead on him earlier.
They lap around Ron Hornaday Jr. and Rick Wilson. Now come up on the 61 of Winston West champ Rick Pirelli. Up to 5th place, where Darrell Waltrip has caught Bill Elliott.
A little bit earlier when I said it's bad news that Mark got his car better, he's checked out.
Yes. Yes, he has.
Good for him, bad for the show.
Guys, if you've ever noticed, cars that run really fast to Pocono run well here for some reason. I guess it's because the corners are virtually flat, and they run about the same car they run in Pocono. And it always happens. The same cars that lead that race, and Darrell Waltrip's car always runs well at Pocono.
Dale Earnhardt just went past Kenny Schrader. Or as he's got a little toe-in problem, and it may have been from either the bump with Kenny Schrader here. This was right near the beginning of the race. Lap 5.
I tell you what, if they've got a toe-in problem, that's not something you can fix in a hurry. And when they're worried about track positioning and finishing this race, when they start messing with that toe-in, it's going to cost them some time.
Could have been that, or Earnhardt also got into the side of Jeff Gordon.
Yep.
Gordon's car is in the garage being worked on at present. There's Richard Childress, who owns Earnhardt's car.
You know, at the top of the show when we were talking about you can adjust on a car, but you got to have the right basic pieces in there. The 4 springs that are in that car evidently aren't what they need. They've adjusted about as far as they go. Like Buddy said, they're going to either have to put a rubber in one of them or do something drastic.
Donald from Pennsylvania wants to know what happens if Earnhardt and Wallace end up in a tie, and it could happen.
It goes to the guy that wins the most races, from what I understand.
And that would be Rusty, because he's won 9, and Earnhardt only has 6, even if he wins the last 2. Rusty would be the champion.
There's always some way. There'll never be a tie. They'll go from that to the next number of second places or some kind of deal. There's always a way to not have it in a tie.
Right.
You see Ernie Irvin moving by Kyle Petty. I mean, he is on the move.
Try to do it the hard way, right around the outside. Drove right around him. And, you know, we heard Mark Martin say that Kyle's car was good on long runs. So it looked like Mark has fixed it. Even though we picked up a radio transmission from Mark just a minute ago, he said, my car is better when it's sunny. And now it's overcast again, so it's coming and going for him.
You have to be a weatherman as well as a chassis man, a tire man, and everything else.
It's hard to tune Mother Nature in.
Yeah, all right.
See that 2 car? I'm telling you, he's going to stay right there. That team has been tremendous down the stretch right here. They're always right up front. It's tough to beat, I'll tell you. They've got a good race team.
Well, I'm not going to say anything that profound right now, but that 28 car of Ernie Irvin will be a person to reckon with next year in the points race.
Absolutely. Next Sunday, the Patry 500 from Hickory live on TNN, the last Busch Series short track race. Atlanta was snowed out in March. Now, TNN will not be able to come back to Atlanta and televise that race, so you need to go and be there. Bruton Smith called up, says there's plenty of great seats remaining for the Saturday Slick 5300 in Atlanta in 2 weeks. You ought to go see that race.
I think I'll just go down there and see it.
Okay.
I'm ready.
I'll be there, Bruton.
Save me a ticket.
Very competitive race here. All the caution flags we've had, 7 of them so far, have kept 23 cars on the lead lap, as Darrell Waltrip and Bill Elliott continue to run a car length apart for 5th place.
You know, without dwelling on Atlanta deal, you just think that the Busch races they have at Talladega, Daytona, Atlanta's going to present that same show. It's going to be quite a show. That big high-speed numbers for these Busch cars.
You know, one other number we're watching besides cars on the lead lap is cars out of the race, and presently there are 8 of those, and that would have quite an effect on the points battle depending on what might happen to Wallace or Earnhardt. But right now, 8 of the 43 starters are out of this race at the moment. The least amount of points available in this race, 42 to the 43rd place finisher. 72 is the point lead that Earnhardt holds. Ernie Irvin is closing in on the race leaders. Watch Bill Elliott here. Knocked it down to 1.9 seconds.
And it's really visible, too, on the racetrack. You can see him closing that gap.
Darrell Waltrip's finished everywhere in the top 5 but first in this race. Battle of the Pontiacs, 3rd and 4th place, Kyle Petty, Rusty Wallace. .179 laps completed Phoenix. Mark Martin, Ernie Irvin, Kyle Petty, Rusty Wallace, and Bill Elliott.
The Miller Genuine Draft Rusty Wallace stock car. See it. Hear it. Feel it. Catch it, if you can.
Robert, all we need here is some oil and we'll be ready to crank. Okay. Yes, get us 2 cases. I have one.
Yes, sir, right away. Robert, we're out.
Get us 2 cases and fly.
There's only one motor oil that Robert Yates Racing relies on for complete protection. Haviland Formula 3 from Texaco. The same Haviland Formula 3 you can use in your car.
That was quick.
Yeah, they had it right down the street.
Hey, we got 50.
People care about the world these days. They just don't want me to put another toxic antifreeze in their car. I mean, who needs toxic? So what if it protects to 70 below? Any antifreeze can do that. Tell me that it's different, safer. Tell me nothing protects better, and it's biodegradable. I mean, what if their dog gets into it? Or their kids? This is serious. It's a changing world.
poisons out.
New Sierra. It's not just antifreeze, it's safety freeze.
Every day, we all find a way. A promise made, a promise kept, giving it our best.
Napa, we're the most complete source for auto parts, and all Napa parts are backed by a nationwide warranty program. No wonder more Americans trust Napa to keep their vehicles running.
We keep America running. We keep America running.
TNN Motorsports exclusive live coverage of the Slick 5500 is brought to you by Napa. We keep America running. Mark Martin leads Ernie Irvan here at Phoenix International Raceway by 1.4 seconds. Kyle Petty in third, Rusty Wallace and Bill Elliott. Bobby Labonte just went past Rick Mast for 8th place. As you watch third and fourth battle. Is this a battle? Or are we high-speed riding around here burning some laps off, do you think?
No, they're battling right now.
Okay.
You try to get as much edge as you possibly can, because if you have a green flag stop, that really makes a difference.
Yeah, buddy, that's exactly what I was thinking. We got to be getting within the realm of thinking about one of those green stops, and it's so critical, especially Rusty Wallace. He knows if he can stay fairly close on the green, they'll really put him out in good shape.
At 10th place, Dale Earnhardt going to try to hold back Michael Waltrip. Tony from Michigan called, asked if Mark Martin could win the Winston Cup championship. If Earnhardt starts Atlanta, no. He's 100 and 288 points behind right now. Can't do it. Mark Martin can't win it. He could, however. Now, if Rusty starts Atlanta, he can't even finish second. He's 360 behind Earnhardt. So Earnhardt will get enough points today to deny Mark a chance at the championship just by having started this race. So
I wish you hadn't have said that. I had a bet with a guy down in Rockingham, and I'm going to have to pay him now.
I'm glad I sat over here on the right, because I never can figure that point stuff out.
Neither can a lot of the folks at home. We get a lot of questions about the point standings. Briefly, 175 points to the winner. Back through 6 spots, it drops back 5 spots per position. Back through 7, then it drops back 4 points per position a ways, and then 3 points all the way to last. 3 points every position. Anybody who leads a lap gets 5 bonus points, and the one driver who leads the most laps gets 5 bonus points.
I tell you, Darrell Waltrip right here was trying to make a pass on Bill Elliott. This is for 5th position. Darrell really turned it up a little bit, trying to get around Bill.
Meanwhile, Ernie Irvan has closed into within 10 car lengths and 1 lapped car, separating him from Mark Martin. And Mark having a little trouble getting past Bobby Hillin.
See Darrell there. He's trying to make that move.
2 car got hit going in the corner down here. Boy, I tell you, I don't know what happened. Got hit on the front.
Rusty's off the pace real bad here.
Got a flat.
He went down in the corner, Mike, and I saw the car didn't turn. Oh, yeah, the right front's down on him. Now, what he doesn't need here is for that tire to tear something off the car.
Looks like it might have. And Mark Martin is on pit road. Leader in the pits, number 3-point man and number 2-point man.
Well, let me tell you, it was getting close to a pit stop. If Rusty can get on in here without losing a lot of time, it's not going to be so bad, because he was due to come in. What he's got to hope for is not damage his car anymore with this flat tire.
Right at start finish. Wallace is fitted. They have to lift that car a bit to get it up in the air. Now here's Mark Martin's stop.
Now, Neil, the one thing he has to be concerned with, that was the header pipes that you seen throwing all those sparks back here. It does take some of the horsepower away from the car dragging those headers like that.
Kyle Petty is in. These are green flag stops. I wonder if they might have expected a caution from Rusty. Problem. No, because Mark would have had to wait for the caution and for them to open pit road. But Rusty is going back down the pit lane, back into the race at lap 192.
If you're going to have a flat, have it when everybody's scheduled pit stops.
Sure.
I'll tell you, the 6 car had an 18.6 second pit stop. not bad for them. Good stop.
Kyle Petty is done. And that will put Ernie Irvan in the lead ahead of Bill Elliott, Darrell Waltrip.
There's debris on the front straightaway here. I don't know whether the caution's going to come out or not.
Boy, this is when Rusty Wallace does not need the caution to come out. He just pitted, and he's lapsed down because of having to go in. If that caution comes out, it's going to put him behind.
Same with Mark Martin.
Now look here going in the corner. You see Rusty Wallace going. That tire was flat. He couldn't turn, and he got into the back of that white car. Couldn't tell exactly who it was. And he even carried Bill Elliott wide. He couldn't help it. He couldn't cut the car.
That stuff on the front straightaway should not bring out a caution. It's just a little bit of tires, a little bit of rubber on the front straightaway here.
Here's Rusty's car. And you see the front tire down, and it's just sparking along on the header pipes and chassis. Chuck Bound going past as the leader. Ernie Irvan comes to pit road under green. That will put Bill Elliott out front. Darrell Waltrip is also in the pits. And Elliott becomes the 9th different driver to lead this race. Irvan pitted way down in turn 1. Way out from the wall, 4-tire stop. Left side lug nuts loose. Norman Koshimuzu there with a second can of gas. First one tossed over the wall. Pulling on that left rear tire as soon as the car's up high enough. The second man pops it on.
Norman kicking that tire in this way at the same time.
Yep. 19.7 seconds on the Keystone pit clock. Bill Elliott is in. He surrenders the lead to Bobby Labonte, the rookie driver who's had quite a string of top 10 finishes in this second half of the season, is now the race leader. What a job he's done for Bill Davis this year. He's been in the top 10 all day here.
I tell you what, Mike, from the last half, just like you said, when they started repeating at racetracks, coming back to places they've been before, they've been real competitive.
Ron Hornaday making a stop. Here's Kyle Petty back out on fresh tires, moving past Dale Earnhardt. There's Wallace. Let's check with Ralph.
Crew Chief Buddy Parrott took a quick look at Rusty Wallace's car as they changed tires. He made his observation and reports there's no damage to the Pontiac.
Boy, that's good to hear.
And here's Bobby Labonte, who's just led this race. He will come to pit road, and the new leader, picking up 5 bonus points, Dale Earnhardt. Stayed out on the track to lead a lap. Let everybody else come in and pit. And he gets 5 points.
I would think they would have to come on in now because their car's off the pace on. They need tires if anybody does.
Right. But they needed that 5 points more.
You're exactly right. They might need to lead another one just for insurance or make sure they saw that he led that particular lap.
They're ready for him for next time.
Yeah, that's what they're all saying next time around. Boy, I'll tell you what.
Chuck Bound on pit road. Morgan Shepherd. As green flag stops continue. If Earnhardt pits this time, that yellow car, Mike Waltrip, will become the new leader. Earnhardt does, and Waltrip goes past, and Mike Waltrip will lead a lap here. He's the 12th driver to lead this race.
Boy, those 5 points are important, Earnhardt. I guarantee you that's heads-up call by Childress there.
Let's go to Glenn Jarrett in the Earnhardt pit.
Well, they're waiting for Earnhardt to come. Unfortunately for them, this green flag stop will not allow them to do anything with that toe-in problem they had. This will be a 4-tire change like everybody else has. And unfortunately for them, the 2 cars on each side of them have already pitted and gone, so they've got plenty of room. The right side is up. Everything's pretty much routine, but they're not going to be able to work on that problem that causes this car to continue to push.
Thanks, Glenn. Mike Waltrip is in. That may put Rick Mast back into the front spot. He stays on the racetrack. Dick Trickle comes in and makes a stop. 18.1 seconds for Earnhardt. Mike Waltrip. The Bahari Racing Pennzoil Pontiac.
Looks like Grissom ran out of gas going down the back straightaway with a good run going. Right.
Boy, it could change things if he can't make it back to the pit area.
Clean of the windshield for Trickle. Chuck Rickert there on the left front. California native, came to Winston Cup Racing with Rod Osterlund and found a home there. And Trickle is away. Brett Bodine in the pits. The country time car for Loy Allen. And Steve Grissom will coast around onto pit road. There will not be a caution. Harry Gant is the new leader. Gant picks up the lead. had a good, strong chance to win Rockingham. Live on TNN a week ago.
Gant's always been able to stretch gas mileage as good as anyone. Here he goes, pulling it out now.
And Grissom's car will go behind the wall for some work for the man who hopes to be the Busch Grand National Champion this year, either Grissom or David Green.
Where they're holding on like it didn't have brakes or something.
There's some kind of fluid coming out of it.
Yep, trouble for Grissom. Darrell Waltrip running on the lead lap here, making a big schedule change in 1994. What are his plans?
Of course, part of those plans include selling of the Busch team, which I have done. I won't be doing any outside racing in 1994. No Busch racing, no ASA racing, no All-Pro racing. Maybe an ARCA race at Texas, I'm not sure yet, but pretty much just focus on Winston Cup and try to get better there.
Starting your engine is a terrible thing to do. But when you do start your car, there isn't an engine treatment in the world that can give it the kind of protection Slick 50 engine formula can. Because nothing else has Slick 50's unique chemistry. That's why Slick 50 protects so well at startup and keeps on protecting for up to 50,000 miles. And you can reduce engine wear by up to 50%. What it takes is Slick 50.
Happy birthday, Cousin Dave!
What's this?
We're here for your birthday party!
That's next week.
Oh, Ed. Does that mean there's no food?
There's a Wendy's nearby.
Now you're talking.
Everything on Wendy's Super Value menu is 99 cents each. Freshly made salads, hamburgers hot off the grill, chili, delicious food you can only get here. Plus, for $1.99, get a hamburger kids meal.
Happy birthday! Look, we're twins.
Great.
Wendy's, you don't pay more, you just get more.
In IndyCar racing, when it rains, we don't race on super speedways. But we're running this IndyCar on Goodyear Eagle GSC street radials to prove a point. What's the point? Outstanding wet traction. Eagle GSC, only from Goodyear.
We invite your comments about this race. Toll free. Call us at 1-800-451-7331 if you have a question for us here in the booth or something our pit reporters can chase down. As we continue at 207 laps. Coming up on 100 to go here as you're watching from our Ray Bestis aerial platform. All of us at TNN want to give a special thank you to the folks at Ray Bestis Brakes for sponsoring this year's helicopter-mounted camera. It's added a lot to our race coverage, and we certainly appreciate the support of Ray Bestis.
Here's Gant leading the race, and this is kind of a critical move for Rusty. This puts him back in the lead lap in case the caution did come out. Gant is stayed out for a long run. There's Rusty. If the caution did come out, that'd put Rusty back in the lead lap, even with a caution.
We saw briefly Mark Martin go past Bobby Hillin in the Heilig Myers car. That was for second place. And Kenny Wallace pops up on the leaderboard in 5th place. First time he's been there today in the Dirt Devil Pontiac. There's Mark Martin moving back toward the front. I think just about everybody has made pit stops.
They're showing the 6th car in 2nd place. That means Gant would be the only one of them, of the lead cars, that hasn't stopped.
Lake Speed and Kenny Wallace have yet to stop. Todd Bodine was just in. And Harry Gant, of course. Also, Dale Jarrett has not been to pit road in this round of pit stops.
We see Ricky Rudd trying to get around Gant. Boy, Gant has gone some distance on his fuel, a lot further than anyone else.
Last Winston Cup race he won, he outgassed the field.
Yep. Well, the car that's chasing the 5 car won Michigan on gas mileage.
That's right.
They're saying that the 33 is coming in 6 laps.
6 more.
Yeah. Harry's must have her own cruise control.
Yes. At 6th place, Kyle Petty gets underneath Dale Jarrett and the Joe Gibbs Interstate Batteries Chevy.
One thing of Kyle's, he's coming on back up through there again.
Let's make that 4th place. Kyle Petty.
right here once he got around Dale Jarrett. He really moved. There's Bobby Hillin coming in.
Brian Hillen's the third-place car. Scheduled pit stop for the Ginny Donlevy team.
Seen Rusty go by Gann a while ago. He's got about a straightaway lead on him now, so he's moving right along, trying to get back in the lead lap here, up in the contention.
Yeah, you can stretch that fuel mileage, but boy, you sure pay it with the amount of tires you have left on the car. Those laps are a lot slower when those other guys both new stuff on. But in turn, as soon as Gant puts them on, he should be able to get some of that time back.
And it's a calculated risk. Sometimes you stretch that fuel mileage and you just hope maybe a caution will come out. Some of those fellas that stopped earlier would get caught a lap down.
You know, Rick Masters run well all day today. He's just right in there. He has a lot of experience on flatter tracks.
And he just got back on the lead lap by going past Harry Gant. Jimmy Spencer trying to do the same thing here.
There's Darrell Waltrip. All these guys would like to get around Gant just in case that caution did come out.
And let's check with Ralph.
Mike, one of the problems that tire changers have is hurting their knees when they drop down on the pavement like this. There's a new development in Winston Cup racing. It's a Kevlar knee pad. This part right here is all Kevlar. It forms nicely to your knee. So when your knee, as you jump around that car, bangs down on the ground, nice protection all the way around your knee. It'll help these guys keep away from getting knee damage.
Every good pit reporter needs one. Thanks, Ralph. Here's Dale Jarrett in. Chassis change on the left rear. Tires and ease away. That leaves Harry Gant out on the racetrack. You talked about Earnhardt having a toe-in problem for some of our newer fans. Want to explain that a bit, Neil?
Back what that amounts to is the front tires. On a race car, you usually pull them out about 1/8 of an inch. Instead of the tires running directly straight parallel with each other, they're towed out. The front ends open up a little more than the rear on the front tires themselves. Lets the car drive better. When that toe end gets knocked out, they just won't turn.
Let me ask you guys, about the 33 car staying out this long, he's only going to have to make one more stop or this stop. Is that correct?
They might be playing some number game here with him, buddy. Good chance of that.
There will be 95 miles left for Harry Gant to run, and that should just barely be within the window of what they could go on one 22-gallon tank of gas.
That might win the race for him. He don't have to stop, and everybody else does. That might win the race for him.
Maybe that's why you told me he won the last race here and on fuel mileage.
19th lead change as he surrenders the lead to Mark Martin. That is a new Phoenix record.
Good stop.
20.2 seconds. Dick Trickle coming in to make his stop, and I believe this will be a scheduled stop for Trickle. He is one lap off the pace. Van Heim auctions car. Nope, it is not a scheduled stop. They peeled a piece of tape off the radiator and just topped it off. Might have been building heat up a bit. He was just in 17 laps ago. Let's go to Ralph.
Leo Jackson is the car owner for Harry Gant. Leo, how'd you get such good gas mileage? What did you do?
Well, we're not getting all that good of gas mileage. We just thought we'd, in case they don't have another caution, we'd just stop one time.
And now how long do you think you can go on a tank of gas before you got to come in again?
Well, we're not going to come in again.
At this point, he's going all the way, gentlemen.
Sharp bit of strategy. It has paid off for them in the past handsomely. Second place, Kyle Petty in 42, the Mello Yellow car. And Ernie Irvan drives on around.
You seen Kyle just get way there. He seen that Ernie was gaining on him real fast. And at this point in the race, there's no point in holding guys that's running a lot faster.
I'll tell you that 28 getting the job done.
He'll dip under lake speed here as we go to break with 90 laps to go here at Phoenix.
Being on a professional race crew is one of the world's most exciting jobs. The action, the drama, the glory. But best of all, you get to play with all the Craftsman tools you've ever dreamed of.
Oh, yeah!
1,600 Craftsman hand tools, the official tools of NASCAR, NHRA, and IndyCar racing. Only at Sears.
Why use Valvoline Motor Oil? It's the #1 choice of Indy 500 chief mechanics, Daytona 500 chief mechanics, NHRA mechanics, and Baja 1000 mechanics. For use in their race cars and in their own cars. Any more questions? People who know use Valvoline.
The Texas Tornado.
Hey, baby, ¿qué pasó?
And Tish Hinojosa.
Where the winding river runs by.
It's a hot Tex-Mex night. The Texas Connection from Fiesta, Texas. Monday.
It comes specially equipped with dual airbags, cruise control, air conditioning, 4-speaker AM/FM cassette stereo, and power accessories like luxury sedans costing twice the money. The 1994 Nissan Altima GXE. It not only defines what a luxury car should be, it redefines what a luxury car should cost. Lease the Altima for just $750 down and $229 a month for 36 months.
Speedway, the South's fastest short track.
DeSoto Speedway, the South's fastest short track, has something for you every Saturday night. And it's awesome. Late model sportsman, open wheel modified, straight stocks, modified minis, your stock minis, and a limited schedule of pro figure.
Join me, Rusty Wallace, Ernie Irvin, Cale Yarborough, Jimmy Spencer, and Rick Wilson Saturday, November 6th for the exciting Granger Select Race of Champions at DeSoto Speedway. Come early for the autograph session. See you there.
Mountain's Majesty here in Phoenix, Arizona. Clear blue skies. Obviously, this was shot yesterday because it's a gray day here at the racetrack. The sun is not out, and it's getting a little gray in Rusty Wallace's pit. He radioed in and thought he might have valve trouble in the engine. Buddy?
It's either a valve problem or dragging those header pipes around. He might have drug a place in the header pipe where now he's blown a hole in it, and that will take away power from the car.
Yeah, you can see right here once the car is going by. He's on the inside, and they're clicking him off. And this is just the way you don't want to see the points thing come out. You want to see these two guys race with 8 cylinders as hard as they can go at the end of the season. Maybe, might be something they could correct, but Rusty Cobb said he thought his valve could be what Buddy said.
Whatever it is, he's off the pace quite a bit.
Yep. Jeff Gordon is back in the race. Ray Evernham's crew took 46 minutes and 23 seconds to repair the damage on the car of one of the leading rookie contenders. And Wallace continues to lose position on the racetrack.
It won't be long before the 6th car will pop up in this picture here, and then it'll be a lap down again.
Right. The one good thing is that Rick Corelli is 2 laps down. Good for Wallace. And Jimmy Spencer there is 10 laps down. Wallace shaking the car back and forth there. So he's still on the lead lap. None of those passes there were for position.
Let me tell you what. I guarantee you right now, Rusty Wallace, if he thinks it's about, he'll be glad to go 1 or 2 or 3 down. What he doesn't want to happen is this thing is self-destruct. That valve to cause the rest of this engine to go away and quit, because there's a long way to go yet. Something can happen to some of these other guys.
Right.
As long as it keeps running, you can't complain a whole lot. I know they'd like to have that thing with 8 cylinders, but to keep it rusty, you got to try to just keep that thing running the rest of the day.
If Wallace dropped out of the race, right now he would finish 35th, no better than 35th, and Earnhardt could clinch the championship today.
That's the reason they got to keep this thing running.
Now he's only 3 seconds from being lapped. As we give you this Napa Field standing update, we'll check with Ralph.
The crew is discussing what they want to do with the car. Crew Chief Buddy Barrett is standing on top of the war wagon. He's keeping an eye on Rusty. The rest of the crew members discussing what they want to do and getting their tools in order.
Let me tell you what, Ralph, what they're working, I see in their hand right there is a set of heim joints that goes on the sway bar. That's some sway bar. Looks like it might have drugged the sway bar off on the right front, a lot of that sparks, but I'm sure they got a motor problem too, but they're looking at some sway bar components there. That right there is what loads that front bar. You saw Rusty wiggling the car off the corner a while ago. If that thing broke that bar loose, he got his hands full along with the motor problem.
It's a big heim joint connecting link to put on the front suspension of Wallace's car. Thing is, he has to nurse that thing along before he gets a caution. Now, you saw when that car came out of the corner, and the next time we see it, look at all the travel on the left front. It looks like that fender comes way up in the air. Just like you say, and you like that sway bar is not connected.
There went the leaders by. The 6 car just went around it. But, Mike, just like you said, that gap on the left front, what it's doing, that sway bar, when that right front compresses, it makes it pull that left wheel down and compress it down in the ground. That front anti-roll bar is critical to these cars. They'll go out there and change a 16th, and go from an inch to an inch and a 16th, inch and an eighth. And I'm telling you, without one, it is tough to drive.
With the sway bar, Neil, can't you run a softer spring to get the same job done? But then if it breaks, if that sway bar breaks or comes disconnected, then your car is so soft in the front that it doesn't work on both sides.
That's right. And one thing he's got to think about, even if he's got a cylinder down, if they can get it back, get that bar hooked up where he can handle it, he can hold it almost wide open and not give up as much ground. So look at that left front wheel right there, like we're talking. Look at the gap above the tire and the fender, and watch it settle back down on the straightaway. Just like you say, when he goes in the corner, that body work is going to lift way up. And see, there's the 28 going around. You can see what off the pace he's having to go with. And I'm telling you, Rusty Wallace is one of the few guys that can still run this hard with that bar loose.
Now, your street car has a front sway bar as well, most likely, and it prevents that body roll where it feels like the car is just all leaning over like that.
Well, that's bad when it lifts up there, but when he gets on the straightaway, all that weight comes back on the left front right here.
Buddy, we just got a call from the 2 cars coming in this lap. They've got to come in and fix something here. We'll see if he comes in. They made a call for him to come in this lap.
Wallace had hoped to nurse this thing along and wait for a caution as you watch from our Ray Bestas aerial platform. Ray Bestas best in brakes. Broken sway bar link. Probably when Wallace, and caution is coming out. Wallace will get a caution. Yellow is out. Number 41, Dick Trickle, was one indication we had, but Trickle is still running. Here's Wally Dahlem back to the pit lane.
Boy, now that's what it takes to win championships. Take attention. There was the 2 car coming in that lap. Caution came out, fell right to his favor. Good luck to those guys.
And we'll cut down on the number of laps that he loses, making this repair under the caution flag. Wally Dallenbach is in with the hood up on the Keystone Ford.
That's the car that's losing the fluid, and this isn't a Rusty Wallace pit yellow flag. I can see fluid going in the number 1 corner down low.
You're right, buddy. Looks like a long streak of oil down there into turn number 1. NASCAR has observers stationed all around the racetrack, and safety is their primary concern. If something happens and the track's unsafe for racing, they won't hesitate to bring the caution out, and the speedy dry trucks are coming out.
Yeah, Mike, even if it's questionable is there fluid on the track, they need to throw that caution. There's nothing like sailing one of these things off at 160 miles an hour and it not stick. So I'm sure all drivers would rather, even if it's questionable, put that caution out and check it.
Wally Dallenbach, former Trans Am champion, brings out this caution. It is the 8th one of the day at lap 239. Now here's a new one. Derek Cope got a stop-and-go penalty after his green flag pit stop. Crew chief Bob Johnson got into a shouting match with a NASCAR official, and you can't win those, so he earned a stop-and-go penalty for that car.
For the crew chief?
Yes. Ralph?
Rusty brings the car to a stop. They will change right side tires first and make an adjustment to the sway bar. Then they will come around and change left side tires. The tires that are going on the car is set number 8. This is one of those 3 best sets. Now down to Glenn Jarrett.
Earnhardt brings his Chevrolet in for his stop. They're going to the right side first also, which is normal. I see no attempt thus far to do anything about that towing problem. I believe they're just going to have to try to ride it out. They're going to the left side now, but there are no tools out there to try to set that tow in. This is the first time they've been able to pit under the caution since they diagnosed that problem. He's down and away. Ralph?
At this point, the motor down here sounds fine on Rusty's Pontiac. Everything sounds good. It seems to be just an adjustment to the suspension. You can probably hear it right through my microphone. Nothing missing in the engine. Everything sounds to be hitting on all cylinders. There we go.
They did get that bar changed, too. They changed that entire heim joint. That spark we saw probably dragging on that when we saw it earlier.
You could see the guy letting the heim joint out. They have a measurement for everything on that car, and they could reproduce that thing exactly like it was with another heim joint.
54-second pit stop from Rusty Wallace. And we'll be back to Phoenix as the pressure continues to build. Mark Martin and Ernie Irvan, the leaders.
Robert, all we need here is some oil and we'll be ready to crank.
Okay.
Yes, get us suitcases. I have one.
Yes, sir, right away.
Robert, we're out. Get us suitcases and fly.
There's only one motor oil that Robert Yates Racing relies on for complete protection. Haviland Formula 3 from Texaco.
That was quick.
Yeah, they had it right down the street.
The same Haviland Formula 3 you can use in your car.
Get a free Burger King meal when you buy a case of Haviland Formula 3. But hurry, a deal this tasty can't last long.
Wake up to Shoney's Better Than Ever Breakfast Bar. From the people who dreamed up the breakfast bar with over 40 items like pancakes, sausage, bacon, fresh fruit, fluffy eggs, and buttermilk biscuits. And Shoney's introduces new sticky buns. Tasty cinnamon rolls sprinkled with nuts and drizzled with caramel syrup. So wake up to Shoney's Better Than Ever Breakfast Bar, where your breakfast dreams come true.
Every day, we all find a way. A promise made, a promise kept, giving it our best.
Napa, we're the most complete source for auto parts. And all Napa parts are backed by a nationwide warranty program. No wonder more Americans trust Napa to keep their vehicles running.
We keep America running. We keep America running.
Exclusive live coverage of the Slick 5500 on the Nashville Network is brought to you by Ford and your Ford truck dealer. Ford Trucks, the best never rest. There's still a bit of fluid around the racetrack. We stay under caution as they recheck the alignment and adjustment on Rusty Wallace. 58-second stop. That won't hurt him since we are under caution. Now, you may have noticed Wallace came in on the lap with the cars on the lead lap, even though he had been lapped by Mark Martin. And as a result, NASCAR has assessed as their penalty that he has to start at the end of the longest line on the restart. That's the rule.
Yeah, but Mike, as you said earlier, that was probably a good move to get on in there and get that thing fixed and then take that penalty, go the rear.
Right.
Neil, that's kind of like you find a gold mine, but you can't get in until next week. That's the best thing they can do for him there.
Here's Ralph.
This will take a little while to get completed. They keep sending him back out to stay out in front of the pace car to stay on the lead lap. So Rusty will be coming back in.
Wallace coming around to catch up tail end of the field. Bob from Indiana is concerned, called in on our 800 number, that since NASCAR added the Brickyard 400 in Indy next year, would they drop another race from the schedule?
No.
No.
Just add to it.
Watching Rusty's car here, if the motor stuff was giving him a whole lot of trouble, boy, look at the 41 car trickle right here. A lot of smoke out that tailpipe.
Yeah, and when you see it come out the tailpipe, it means something deep in the engine is hemorrhaging.
Yeah, that's not going to get better.
Yep, no. It's going to get real shallow because it's going to surface here in a minute. I promise you. It won't do that and keep running along.
Let's check with Glenn.
We're standing by with Richard Childress. Richard, obviously you've decided to forego anything on that potential tow-in problem. You're just going to let him ride it out?
Well, you know, we keep adjusting the car each stop, and we've got it better with the situation we're in. We're just trying to salvage the best day we can right now.
Okay, let's go back to Ralph now.
They are in one more time. They're getting the one to go sign. They're going to do everything they can on the right side. They're going to leave left side tires on. They have only changed the right side tires.
And we're not going green. We're going to stay yellow here. They had given one to go, but you see the NASCAR official on pit road waving it off. They will not get a restart at 243 laps. So since we're going to stay yellow, we're going to take a break. As the pressure mounts, we'll be right back to Phoenix.
Cold filtered Miller Genuine Draft. For those who've discovered its smooth draft taste, the world is a very cool place.
you want to know why most NASCAR teams use a Sears Die-Hard battery, just ask a guy who didn't use a Die-Hard. Die-Hard, the official battery of NASCAR. For more power when you need it most.
It's really hard to explain. It'd be like a full-blown dinosaur screaming in your ear.
Oh.
It just nails you in the seat, pushes you back and up so hard that you almost wonder if your neck's going to stay on it when it's really on a good run.
If you were sitting still at a stoplight and got run into at 100 mile an hour by an 18-wheeler, that'd give you some kind of an idea of what it feels like.
Get ready. The NHRA Winston Finals today, live only on TNN Motorsports.
Rusty Wallace lost a lap in the pits as they completed repairs and then put left side tires on the car. He is now in 24th place, 2 laps behind the race leader. And that is Mark Martin as he and Ernie Irvan take them down to turn 1. Through a bit of speedy dry there. Kyle Petty is 3rd. Dale Earnhardt is 4th. And where Earnhardt is running right now, all he would have to do is roll out on the pace lap at Atlanta to be the Winston Cup champion. There's Earnhardt in 4th.
Look at Gant right there. His car is still running good. You know, he stretched out a while ago. I tell you what, though, when he stayed out, they're showing him being a lap down. I don't see how that could have happened. They just showed Gant as being a lap down. I don't understand that call. We'll follow up and see what happened to that.
Unless, Neil, he stayed out so long on worn tires, he lost so much time to Mark Martin that Martin came back around by him.
One thing you don't have, Mike, he does not have the advantage of everybody else having to stop and him not. That's gone.
Yeah, that went away.
Yes.
But like you say, he could have, Mark Martin on those new tires might have made up enough ground. He did lap him.
That's it. When Harry was in the pits making his stop, Mark came back around.
And that's what goes to that gambling we're talking about. You catch it, you're a hero. If not, they say, why? Boy, look at this shot here. Spencer on the hood of Spencer's car. And some heavy traffic right here going under the crossover tunnel. That's the walkover from Enfield over to the outside of the racetrack.
Bobby Hillin alongside. Kyle Petty running 3rd, Earnhardt in 4th. .64 laps to go. Here's Glenn.
Well, standing by with Robin Pemberton, and due to the job that they did on Kyle Petty's car, he struggled earlier in the week, but they worked on the car. They got him straightened out. He's run strong all day. On behalf of Miller Genuine Draft, we'll present you with the Pit Crew of the Race Award, Robin.
Thanks. Appreciate it. Crew and everybody deserves it. It's been a pretty tough week. Pretty tough year, to tell you the truth, but thanks a lot. We're just trying to gain some momentum for next year.
Well, I think they'll be there next year. They had some awfully good pit stops today.
I think you're right, Glenn. And Kyle, he may have to ride that Harley to every race.
Yeah, every time he wins a race, he's on that Harley. If he keeps running good, he'll just have to saddle that thing up all season.
Right now, he's in 3rd, about 2 seconds behind race leader Mark Martin. And a bit back from Ernie Irvan in the Texaco Ford.
You know, you see Earnhardt moving in on Kyle Petty there. Before, he couldn't even get close to him, so maybe they worked on him. As I said that, he went way up high, but it looked like he picked up quite a bit. I think they worked on that car during the stop.
I'll tell you what, Rusty Wallace right here, I don't see that motor problem they were talking about. He might have had that chassis trouble.
No, I don't either. Let's go back down to Rusty's pits. Here's Ralph.
This is what a hind joint looks like, and what happened was when that car broke the suspension, got the flat tire, it grounded part of the ends off. Here's one of the bolts that holds it onto the car. You can see how this half of it is all ground right down. Now, they didn't actually get the thing as fixed as they'd like it to be. In fact, it's just kind of halfway sitting on there. So Rusty is not out of the danger zone yet.
I tell you what, it makes me wonder, Ralph, if they got that motor problem. Maybe the chassis was off so bad they couldn't get in the gas. Ralph, do you know if they got that motor problem straightened out?
We'll check back with Ralph in a minute. Go ahead, Ralph.
At this point, Neil, no, they seem to think that the motor problems are okay. They've been listening to the car every time it goes by. It sounds good. Rusty has reported he seems to have gotten his power back. It seems to me that it was all the handling that was the problem.
I tell you, there's a good indication that Rusty just ran a 28.70, and the leader was running 28.40. He's not but 0.3 off. He can't have much wrong with the motor.
Nope. Steve Grissom back in the race after a long time behind the wall on the Diamond Ridge Racing, number 29. Kyle Petty holding a bit of margin on Earnhardt. And Harry Gant, it's confirmed, has lost a lap in the pits. And he is now the 12th place car. 11 cars are on the lead lap.
Neil, that car Earnhardt is running a very high line through the corner. It's just not right for him. He's beginning to drop back as the tires get hot.
Yeah, that thing, they're not going to correct that. I can't help but think part of that call on going with it and leaving it alone was that the problems the two had. You got to weigh it out. Do you come in there and lose time, try to win the race, or do you go ahead now that Rusty stumped his toe a little bit and try to cash in? Somewhere that enters into it.
Earnhardt finishes in 4th where he is right now. He would leave here with a 132-point lead. That's not a lock, but he's holding the keys.
Yeah, but let me tell you what, Rusty's car is not off the pace like it was earlier, right, and he's picking positions off. He's moving up through the field now. He's got a chance to improve on his position.
Ricky Rudd in 6th place, just ahead of Rick Mast in 7th, and Bobby Labonte and the Maxwell House Ford in 8th. Good battle here. All of these cars in this group have run well all day. Darrell Waltrip's right in there with them on the lead lap. Steve Grissom going by, who's just back into the race. And Michael Waltrip, the yellow Pennzoil car, is part of this battle.
There they go down in turn 3. Look at Rick Mast going outside.
Yellow, caution is out. Turn 2.
Sterling Marlin.
In a big way.
That's about 100 yards from where he had trouble earlier today.
Everybody gets by on the low side of Marlin. Dick Trickle, we're told, is also involved. His car is down on the apron of turn number 2.
Yeah, he's on the entry road where he go in the infield, just spun around on it.
Sterling is okay.
Yeah, you see this guy sitting in this car, that's the best place to stay when you're in the middle of the racetrack like that.
And there you see damage on Dick Trickle's car.
Right rear tire down. Ooh, yeah, got more than a tire down. He's back to the wall.
And there is Marlin, the Ray Bestis helicopter. Ooh, boy.
Looks like Sterling's up in that outside wall.
There's Trickle
trying to avoid him, it looks like.
Well, it looked like the 8 car was going to slide back. He didn't, but it looked like he was going to come back across. Dick just made a quick turn hard left, and it spun him out.
Well, looks like Trickle will be able to continue. Caution flag is the 9th of the day for this incident. We've had 40 laps of caution so far. Mark Martin, the leader. Ernie Irvan, Kyle Petty, and we'll give you one more shot at today's Polaroid photo fake-out to try to win a trip to the Daytona 500. What's wrong with the picture they're about to show you? We'll be right back.
What's wrong with this picture?
Hi, I'm Shauna Robinson.
And I'm Aaron Tippin.
You've got to check out the Polaroid Captiva Photo Fakeout. If you send in the correct entry, you can win big. And one grand prize winner will win a dream trip for 2 to Daytona 500 and 2 nights at Captiva Island.
3 winners will win a 2-night trip for 2 to beautiful Captiva Island, Florida. And we'll go to dinner with you and a guest in Daytona.
And there's more.
Prizes include Polaroid Captiva cameras and Aaron Tippin's CD catalog, including his latest release, Call of the Wild. Race fans, if you can spot what's wrong with this picture, call 1-900-820-4TNN to enter. Each call costs 90 cents per call. No phone call is necessary to win. Or send your answer along with your name, address, and phone number to this address. This sweepstakes is brought to you by Polaroid.
Gentlemen, start your engines.
Ball of fire!
You shake my nerves and you rattle my brain. Much love drives a man insane. You broke my will, what a thrill. Doesn't it raise a great ball of fire?
Bosch Platinum, the ultimate spark plug. In IndyCar racing, when it rains, we don't race on super speedways. But we're running this IndyCar on Goodyear Eagle GSE street radials to prove a point. What's the point? Outstanding wet traction. Eagle GSE, only from Goodyear.
There's a Kyle Petty fan out here in Phoenix. Got big ears.
A few freckles. Come on, Mike.
Headphones.
Coach was talking about me for a minute.
He'll have helmet head when the day's over, right, buddy?
Mm-hmm.
Dick Trickle's car, they're still working on the right rear. Been on pit road for 2 minutes, 45 seconds.
You know, Trickle's trouble started yesterday when he had that accident over there. When you have that, you never get a car back just right. That's why so many people take backup cars off and replace them.
All right, there's your NASCAR Advantage record. Their new 24-hour road service. And with Mark Martin leading Ernie Irvan, Kyle Petty, Dale Earnhardt, and Bill Elliott. We're going to stay under caution a lap or two, so we'll take this break and be right back to Phoenix.
Next Sunday on TNN Motorsports. Okay, how about some service? Fill her up and give me a new set of tires. Come on, I'm in a hurry here. It's the World Championship Pit Crew competition next Sunday on TNN Motorsports.
Try any of Florida's seafood favorites, but be careful. You might get hooked.
With the whole day's news, every half hour, headline news meets the fast-paced demands of CEOs, MBAs, and everyday VIPs who like their news ASAP, which makes it the perfect network to advertise everything from A to Z. You can advertise locally on headline news. Call your local cable operator today.
Back in the Valley of the Sun here at Phoenix, Arizona. Lots of natural splendor. And lots of great racing. One lap and we'll get a restart here. Up front, Mark Martin. Watching from our Ray Bestis aerial camera. Going to get a restart this time. Martin is the leader. Ernie Irvan in second. Kyle Petty in third. There's Dale Earnhardt, the fourth place car. Bill Elliott is fifth. Sixth is Ricky Rudd. Seventh is Rick Mast. Eighth is Bobby Labonte. Ninth, Darrell Waltrip. 10th, Morgan Shepherd. 11th, Michael Waltrip, all in the lead lap. One lap down in 12th is Harry Gant. Then Lake Speed, Terry Labonte, Bobby Hillen, Kenny Wallace, Ted Musgrave, and Dale Jarrett are one lap down. 19th, 2 laps down is Chuck Bown. Then Rusty Wallace in 20th. Then Rick Wilson and Rick Corelli as we go back to green with 49 laps to go.
But in turn one, we see Mark Martin pull out there.
And Lake Speed got up into Earnhardt. Hopped up the racetrack a little bit in turn 2. I think okay.
28 car standing right with Mark on his restart.
I was just fixing to say, this is showtime now. They've been riding around just a little bit, and I think you're going to have to get with it. Harry Gant was not able to get back in the same lap on the restart there.
Ford's running 1-2, Pontiac in third, and Chevrolet in fourth. So the Manufacturers' Championship could put Ford in front by 1 point going to Atlanta over Chevrolet and Pontiac third. It's very, very close. Only 6 points separate the three manufacturers.
The only way you could lock up any of the manufacturers' thing would be if the GM won, the Chevrolet won today. They could lock it. The rest of anything other combination, they go to Atlanta with it.
Passing flag getting a workout here. Bobby Labonte trying Rick Mast on the bottom. almost made it good. There's Rudd, Mast, and Labonte, and Darrell Waltrip is right there. Ricky Rudd started 4th, drifted back to 18th, but he's been on the lead lap all day. He's now up to 6th, and that bright orange Tide number 5.
Rudd, he's trying to get a run off that high side and get up under the car in front of him there. But
here comes Darrell.
Yep.
Right behind them, Darrell Waltrip underneath Bobby Labonte.
He had a spin off too.
Chuck Bound has spun off turn number 2 down to the infield grass.
I don't think he's hit anything.
Nope.
No caution out yet.
Caution yet.
Well, he's way down off the racing surface. He can't get it refired.
No, he can't get the thing started over there. The flagman's not putting yellow out, so they're going to continue.
There it goes.
There it goes.
Yeah.
We'll stay green.
Now, you're talking about pulling out the high-speed lane. He's got to come off that apron at 0 miles an hour right in that 150-mile-an-hour section.
45 laps to go. And look at the two Fords distance themselves from the rest of this field.
Jimmy Spencer up in turn 4, right up on the wall. Missed it.
He's just up in the dirt. No problem.
Boy, Mark was wide coming off that corner just then. Ernie Irvan pulled up just a little bit. I tell you, it's going to take a strong car to get by Ernie or Mark Martin today.
Let's show you what happened to Chuck Bound. He was racing along there with, I think, Rick Wilson.
The back just come out on the car. Nobody hit him. Look how close the 2 car come to being involved there.
Chuck kept it right down to the bottom. Had a good run going. He was only 2 laps behind the leader. He is now 3 laps down unofficially. 5th place. These 2 cars finished just like this at Rockingham. 2nd, 3rd. Right here, they're running for 4th and 5th.
Now, if Rusty Wallace could see this move right here, he'd be telling Bill Elliott going around.
Yeah, that's 5 points.
He likes to see some people get some distance. You know, whenever you have a problem on a racetrack, you just don't throw your hands up. You see that 2-car bunch just work. Just a few laps ago, a couple of cars wrecked. That was a couple of more positions for the 2. And now Bill Elliott gets around this thing. I'm telling you, this point thing is going to go right down to the wire in Atlanta.
If Earnhardt finishes here, he's ahead of Rusty by 129. If Bill passes him, Earnhardt's only ahead by 124.
Well, that doesn't sound like everybody says, oh, 120.
Yeah.
Hey, you can turn the other way in a hurry.
Those 5 points were the difference last year between Alan Kulwicki and Bill Elliott for the championship. That's all it takes.
Okay, Bill's right up under him there.
And Elliott goes on.
Earnhardt knows how important this is. He's going to fight him for every bit of real estate he can.
Right here's where Bill's car worked good off of this corner. Well, got him off right there.
So Earnhardt holds on to 4th place.
Bill ran him down from a good way back. I thought he had to count on him there one time. Earnhardt came back around.
That's 4th and 5th. 6th is Ricky Rudd. 7th, Darrell Waltrip. And Bobby Labonte has moved up to 8th. He's gone past Rick Mast. There's Labonte's number 22. Just ahead of Mike Waltrip, the 9th place car. Mast got way up into the marbles in turns 1 and 2 and dropped back 2 spots. There he is. Now, Lake Speed is not on the lead lap in the Bud Moore Motorcraft Ford. He is 1 lap down, 2 laps down, 1 lap down in 13th position.
See Michael Waltrip going down in the corner here. He's run well all day long, he and Darrell both, and they just hadn't got up front.
Watching Rick Wilson, who has 1 more race for Richard Petty, and then Wally Dallenbach takes over that car for 1994. We asked Richard how he came to choose Dallenbach as his driver for next season.
Well, I looked at it from the standpoint that, you know, Wally's had a couple of years of being a rookie, and hopefully he's been to all the racetracks. He knows what he's doing. 30-year-old kid, as far as I'm concerned, that's where the racers start really doing their best. So, you know, before he gets into a trap of running a lot of cars that's not that good and not having a chance to win, then I felt like by being a graduated rookie, that he'd be really good for us because we've got to build the team back up. And between him and the young crowd that I've got working on the car, I think they can do that.
If it were just to win more trophies, we wouldn't be here. But there's a side to Ford racing you won't find in the sports page. It's learning how to make your car safer by racing 200 miles an hour in heavy traffic. And learning how a granite roller coaster can make your truck even tougher. Because when it comes to developing technology for your Ford, there shouldn't be any limits. That's why we race. Of course, we're not about to give back all our trophies. Have you driven a Ford lately?
Splitfire earned a United States patent. Splitfire doesn't look like any other spark plug. And the patented Splitfire doesn't work like any other spark plug.
5 extra horsepower by merely installing these plugs. Quicker in the quarter mile. A 4.8% gain in mileage.
There's nothing like a Splitfire. You'll get more power and more mileage, or your money back.
Get guaranteed Splitfire benefits for all gasoline engines at leading automotive stores nationwide.
Over 1 million people each week walk into AutoZone, and taking care of them means having what they need when they need it. That means stocking a lot of parts for a lot of cars. Now, nobody can stock everything, but we stock more than most. And how do we know which ones to carry? That's easy. We listen to our customers, because nobody knows better about what you want than you. So the next time you walk through that door, you might think of yourself as a customer, but we think of you as the boss.
Elvira here, Mistress of the Dark and sometimes Surfer Babe, because Coors Light is the official beer of Halloween, and the party's at the beach, Malibu Beach, where you can hang 10. Look, Frankie and Annette. And of course, when it's time to chill, just reach for that cooler of Coors Light. Aged, ice cold, never frozen stiff. It's the right beer now for Halloween. Just look for the silver bullet smooth display and dig up your friends now for a party at the beach. Happy Halloween, dudes.
TNN Motorsports exclusive coverage of the Slick 5500 is brought to you by Keystone, Keystone Light, and Keystone Dry. You're riding with Mark Martin. That's the roof cam. Kenny Schrader, his car damaged in an early accident with Dale Earnhardt. You see how close they come to that wall in turn 2.
Yeah, that's that little wall that juts out across the back straightaway where you come across and enter the racetrack. I'm telling you, it looks like it's 40 foot high when you make a run at it.
Well, let's stay with this to turn 2 again as you go into the Goodyear Bridge. Here's the front straightaway, and you'll see the groove is right out by the end of that wall at turn number 2.
Pretty narrow in this area, too. You can see if anything happened there, you wouldn't have anywhere to go.
Now, right here, he's going to get in the gas, and watch how this wall jumps out. Right there. And there's the other wall 50 foot over behind it. That's just the entry to the racetrack.
Sitting here watching that is as close as I want to get to it.
Oh, yeah, I've tapped that thing a time or 2.
30 laps to go.
Mark has had this view a lot. He's presented us with a lot of it looking at the front windshield of his car this year.
We're going to have to put that roof cam on the back of his car. Here's your Napa Field standing update brought to you by Napa. We keep America running. Had a couple of questions about Mark Martin's car, about that tangle of blue wires in the lower left corner of that shot, Neil, near the gear shift.
He's got a lot of wires. A lot of that's the radio system that goes in the car, and they just got excess wire, and they just put it on it and put those little tie straps around to hold it. The cord wrapped around the steering wheel, like a telephone cord, is the wire with his left thumb. That's the button you see right by his left thumb. He keys that to talk to the pits.
Now, look at that steering wheel. On the right spoke, that's what he keys to talk to the pits, and the left spoke is the one he talks to us.
Well, darn, he's going to talk to us in a minute. He's about to hit it.
And the radio is on that roll bar there.
That's the reason he's got so much radio stuff.
Look how still his hands are in the corner, though. Pretty nice and smooth through there. He's one of the few drivers I've ever seen that takes their hand off the steering wheel and puts it over on top of his left hand in the corner, though.
Like that?
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what, that might be a new technique to teach, because we've seen plenty of it out front.
Back to the Buck Baker School. Remedial racing.
They used to tell me to do it at 12 o'clock and 3 o'clock. I couldn't tell if I was on Eastern time. I was one notch off all the time.
If the clock stops, where do you go, right? This is 6th place, Ricky Rudd and Darrell Waltrip.
AM and PM, the day and the night.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, grown. That was better than most of the jokes in the Grand Prix.
Oh, boy, we've had some, haven't we?
Yep. 6th place behind Mark Martin, Ernie Irvan, Kyle Petty, Dale Earnhardt, and Bill Elliott are these two cars. There's Earnhardt and Elliott. Lead change, turn 1. Maybe. Maybe not.
Well, we was watching Mark's hands. That 28 car was closing in on him.
Mark got real high up in turn number 4, had to get way out of the throttle, and Ernie just closed the gap, and he was there.
You know, we saw Mark's car. Ooh, look here.
Ooh, a little tight racing here.
Here's Mark. This is taking a look over his shoulder, what he's got to deal with right here.
Didn't give an inch. I tell you, this guy is really determined.
Gutsy little race car driver with a lot of talent.
I don't think I've ever seen the combination of drive, intensity, guts, and hyperactivity in Mark Martin all combined in any other race driver.
Mark's a small guy. He worked on his body. He built it up to a bodybuilding type body. Everything he's done has made him a winner.
And see right here, Mark's gauge on where he goes is lay that left fender up against that black car on the left. All he can do is get just as tight as he can, because that 28 car is dictating how much room he has left. When he comes off his corner, he'll cut that left side right on him again. Oh, got loose coming off the corner right there.
Ernie lost it and caught it. Let's check with Glenn.
Well, Mark Martin's doing a great job hanging on. Crew Chief Steve Mill told me that he does have a broken valve spring. That's the reason for the abrupt slowdown on Mark's car. But I tell you what, he's doing a heck of a job hanging on to that lead. He is going to make Ernie Irvan really work hard to take it away from him.
I tell you what he did to Ernie Irvan. He made Ernie Irvan's car get loose. He made that car stay down there low. He would never give him that outside lane. If he had ever given up, let the 28 have that outside, he'd be checked out on him now. But he worked him so hard, he got his car loose.
Here it is again.
See Mark drive right back up on that outside. Watch him pull that left front fender right up against him there.
Look at that left front wheel there. He's cutting back into that slide. I'm going to tell you, everybody can't catch a car that well. He did a beautiful piece of driving there to get that car back under control. Ernie Irvan did.
Folks, you think this is easy? These guys are sliding these cars closer together than you park your street car. Glenn?
Well, Mike, I asked Steve Mill about how much horsepower that would cost him. He said it's hard to stay here because the track's so slick. He said it really doesn't bother him that bad to lose that power. It may have been power they couldn't use anyway, so they're really not too concerned about it right now. They think Mark can hold him off.
Well, Mike, I just about go along with that. What I'm seeing right now, because once I'll tell you the only thing I see can possibly happen. That 28 really got his tires hot doing that. He might cool him down, buddy, and make another run in a minute.
Good point, Neil. That's what he's doing. He's sitting there right now cooling the tires, and Mark's checking out on him. He better not cool too long.
But there's only 20 laps to go.
I tell you what, though, once you slip those rear wheels like that, you go down to the next corner, and it feels like they're on ice.
Steve Meal, closest to the camera. Jack Roush, the car owner. Steve will leave that team at the end of the season, go over to Hendrick Motorsports, where he will oversee all of Rick Hendrick's Winston Cup race teams.
I tell you what, Mark Martin just called back. He said, I want to know how many laps to go each lap. You count it down for me. So he knows he's got his hands full. He wants to know how hard he's got to run, how many laps are left, so he can judge what he does in that race car. He wants him to tell him lap 20 to go, 19 to go, 18 to go. Yep. So they're going to count him down where he can work. And I'll tell you, the same thing's happened to that 28. He probably tells me, let me know when there's 10 to go, and I'll burn these tires off this thing.
You can see the Ford can overtake Chevrolet today in the manufacturer's points for the Ford victory. It would be a 1-point difference, we're told, going to Atlanta. Ford's right now running first and second. Pontiac is third. That's Kyle Petty. Chevrolet is fourth. That's Earnhardt. Bill Elliott is fifth. We're counting them down here at Phoenix, and we'll be right back as live coverage of Winston Cup racing on TNN continues.
You want to know the secret to choosing a motor oil? You wait till the sun goes down. You take a ride to your local garage and then get a real close look at what the mechanic puts into his own car. Fact is, more top mechanics in America choose Valvoline over any other brand. Valvoline can help keep cars on the road for 100, 200, 300,000 miles and more. So before you buy a motor oil for your car, know the one more top mechanics put into theirs. People who know use Valvoline.
One oil filter traps 80% more dirt than the leading competitor. Clearly, that's Motorcraft. Motorcraft quality parts from Ford.
In IndyCar racing, when it rains, we don't race on super speedways. But we're running this IndyCar on Goodyear Eagle GSE street radials to prove a point. What's the point? Outstanding wet traction. Eagle GSE, only from Goodyear.
Next Sunday, live only on TNN Motorsports, Busch Grand National returns to North Carolina's Hickley Motor Speedway, and it's crunch time. With the points race on the line, Busch drivers will be pushing their cars right to the edge as they try to capture not only the checkered flag, but a possible season championship. With one race to go, it's do or die. The Pantry 500 next Sunday, live only on TNN Motorsports.
Martin is leading. Here at Phoenix, Ernie Irvan is reeling him back in. Glenn?
Standing by with crew chief Larry McReynolds. Larry, we speculated Ernie might have gotten the tires hot when he got under Mark there. Does he have anything left for him?
Well, I don't know. You know, if you ever get these tires good and hot, it's hard to get them to come back, you know, once you've used them. And I don't know. We got a feeling a while ago that maybe Mark was on 7 cylinders, but it don't look like it right now. But sometimes when this place gets slick, 7 cylinders actually help you.
Well, we were told that he does have a broken valve spring, and Steve Bill said the very same thing you did. It doesn't really hurt him.
Well, we just have to see what happens. We're getting down to about 10 to go, running out of time.
I think Larry might have been listening to Neil Bonnet. How he figured all that out. But that team, that 28 team's had a lot of success here.
Mike, they've won that 28 team has won the last 2 races at this racetrack. So they know what it takes. And I'm not so sure this thing's over. That 28's pulling back up there, son.
Yeah, Davey Allison, the last Winston Cup driver to go to victory lane here at Phoenix. Only 4 drivers have won in the last 14 races. They've won all but 6 this year. Wallace, Martin, Earnhardt, and Irvan. 11 laps to go.
Boy, I know they wouldn't just say that car was on 7 cylinders just for the fun of it. It is after running this thing on 7 cylinders I've ever seen.
I'll tell you what, I was
pulling away from cars down the straightaway.
Buddy, I was up at Wilkesboro one time. That's a real slick racetrack when I was driving for Junior, Darrell and I. And Darrell dropped the cylinder and just started driving away. The next time I pitted, they reached around and pulled a plug wire off my motor.
No.
I'm just telling you, that thing would get slick like that up there. And I was sitting there spinning the wheels, and they gave me a try with 7 of them.
Well, here's Junior's car, Bill Elliott. It's on 8 cylinders, and it's battling Dale Earnhardt for 4th place. 11 cars on the lead lap. If Earnhardt stays in 4th, he goes to Atlanta 126 ahead of Rusty Wallace.
Well, the lap before, we were watching this 3 car that sideways coming up off this corner. I mean, they still got that thing out of left field on the chassis like they want to be.
Now, what does that mean? 124 points? Earnhardt would have to finish 34th or better at Atlanta to wrap up his 6th championship, no matter what Rusty does. Mark Martin laps past Bobby Hillin.
Man, out there in the gray stuff.
Let's check with Ralph.
Steve, we're hearing all sorts of things about you maybe being down with a broken valve spring. Any other problems with the car?
About 15 laps ago, Mark Pollard, he thought he broke a valve spring. And Ernie jumped up alongside us, but Marcus figured out a way to run the car hard. You know, a lot of times the racetrack gets slick, you're better off with less horsepower. We're not sure we broke a spring, but if we have, it doesn't seem to hurt us a whole lot. Ernie's awful tough. I wish this thing was over.
You said you figured a way for him to run hard. What did you figure out? What's he doing different?
Mark, I guess he just runs harder in the corner. You know, he thought it broke going in the corner, and he lifted early, realized he could run harder through the corner if indeed he did break a valve spring. So I'm sure he's trying his guts out right now. He told me not to talk to him, so he's probably trying pretty hard.
He's trying hard right now. It's all he can do to stay in front of Ernie Irvan.
28's trying pretty hard, too. It's going to come down to it right here at the end.
It looks like Mark's keeping the car up high. And, Neil, do you not lose as much RPM when you run that higher line?
Mike, exactly. If he's losing, has to bog it down, he doesn't have that power. He's flying through the outside the corner.
And the other thing, when you get back in the throttle, you get back in it quicker, and you stay in it wide open all the way through the corner. And with the full power, and you spin the wheels coming up out of the corner.
Slip and slide for 6th spot here. Ricky Rudd trying to hold on. Darrell Waltrip. That is for 6th. That's about a straightaway behind the leaders. Now the leaders are coming up into traffic as you watch Earnhardt and Bill Elliott for 4th place. Mark Martin in about another 3 laps will be on race traffic. There are 5 laps to go.
Boy, now you talk about critical. If he's down on power a little bit, he can't afford to get out of the gas and wait on anybody. He's got to keep it wound up, so he doesn't need to have to deal with these guys slowing him down.
Neil, that's the biggest thing. If he has to get out of the throttle, it'll take him a half a lap to get back up on the pipe screw.
Passing flag will be out on Kenny Wallace and Jimmy Spencer. And here comes Mark Martin to try to lap them with 4 laps to go. Spencer goes way over. He says, I don't want any part of this. I'm not racing for the win or for position. You guys get on and go with it.
Boy, that's a nice gesture there.
No, that's appreciated.
You think that might have anything to do with that being a Ford? Ford's checking out?
Well,
that's good courtesy. I tell you, Spencer did a good job there. I'm telling you, when you see that coming somewhere down the road, those guys will pay you back. If you abuse it, they'll pay you back the other way. Good move by Spencer.
And a word to one man who's had a lot to do with Ford's Winston Cup success of late. Michael Tranopus, the worldwide head of racing of motorsports for Ford, retires tomorrow. Looks like he may get a nice little send-off gift with the victory here.
See Kenny Wallace just in front of the 6 car there now. If he don't get out of the way, he's going to have to get off the 6 car just a little bit.
They lap past Chuck Bound in the 39. And as they come around,
well, Mark is going to need to clear this 40 car and not have to follow him through the corner here.
Pins and needles time.
Hey, the thing about Kenny, he's running about as well as Mark is right now.
He's 17th. Only a lap down. He's had a pretty good day here.
They'll be coming around for 1 to go. Mark's not going to have to deal with this car right here. He needs to get right on around him if he can.
White flag will be in the air. Passing flag at work. Wallace drops way to the low side. Mark will clear him, and that also sets a pick on Ernie Irvan. Where's Irvan going to go? No place. He can't. Kenny Wallace is there.
Kenny stayed out of the way of both cars. Let him race for it.
Irvan will have one more chance at Mark Martin. He is 3 car lengths back as they enter the final turn of the last lap here at Phoenix. Irvan looks to the bottom. Martin takes it up high, and Mark Martin will go to victory lane. The Slick 5500, 12th career victory, 5th of the season. Dale Earnhardt holds off Bill Elliott, and Ricky Rudd finishes just in front of Darrell Waltrip. Larry McReynolds and Steve Neal, rival crew chiefs, saluting one another. Earnhardt coming around needs to finish only 34th or better at Atlanta to win his 6th Winston Cup championship, even if Rusty wins the race and leaves the most laps. So you're riding with the winner on TNN. Mark Martin waits to make the turn, and now heads toward victory lane.
Yeah, Mark asked him where victory lane is. He'll know after this.
Rusty Wallace, 19th place today, 2 laps down after a broken sway bar mount on the right front.
Mike, I tell you, Mark Martin is really getting impressive as a driver. A good car, he's good. When he has a little bit of problem, he still carries the car along. Really coming around and winning a lot of races.
And once again, TNN's proud to bring you a ride with the winner.
Boy, look at that happy face.
Well, he still looks pretty intense, but he looks pretty happy, too.
Good job for Mark.
He led 264 of the 312 laps today. And Ford takes the lead in the manufacturer's standings. Ernie Irvan finishes 2nd. Kyle Petty 3rd for Pontiac. Dale Earnhardt is 4th. And Bill Elliott winds up 5th today. We'll be right back to talk to the winner. Ricky Rudd is 6th. Darrell Waltrip 7th. Bobby Labonte, the highest finishing rookie, in 8th. Mike Waltrip 9th. And Rick Mast 10th ahead of Morgan Shepherd. We'll be right back.
Robert, we're ready.
Okay. Got it warmed up?
Yeah.
Before a Robert Yates engine makes it to the track, it's torture tested right here.
Well, let's do it.
And there's only one motor oil Yates relies on for complete protection. Haviland Formula 3. The same Haviland Formula 3 you can buy right off the shelf.
215 degrees, 8,700.
That's race ready.
Haviland Formula 3 motor oil from Texaco.
Running like a winner. That'll get the job done.
Not too many people are into truck fishing. Most people still use poles. That's fine with me, but if you're after some monster fish, you gotta use one of these. A 1994 Ford Ranger 4x4. Come on. Complete with push-button four-wheel drive, a nice wide stance, and a whopping 4-liter V6. So sink your boat. Go truck fishing. Get a Ford Ranger 4x4 and get serious.
This is the perfect time to try my new Polaroid Captiva. Smile!
Hey, where's the picture?
There's no picture?
Did you see the picture come out? How can that be a Polaroid camera if there's no picture?
It doesn't look like a Polaroid camera.
It's not a Polaroid camera.
Introducing the new Polaroid Captiva. It's sleek, it's stylish. Its pocket-sized pictures stay in a special compartment till you take them out, so you're free to shoot and shoot.
Maybe if you shake it.
Yeah, shake the camera. The new Polaroid Captiva. The pictures stay in till you take them out.
Miller Genuine Draft Rusty Wallace stock car. See it. Hear it. Feel it. Catch it, if you can.
Exclusive live coverage of the Slick 5500 on the Nashville Network has been brought to you by Haviland Formula 3 motor oil. Add more life to your car. And by Ford and your Ford truck dealer. Ford Trucks, the best never rest.
Mark Martin and I continue our newfound friendship, meeting in Victory Lane every week. Mark, great job. You had a problem there at the end, but you were able to figure out a way around that racetrack. Didn't slow you down.
Well, we just held on and ran high and kept the momentum up. I think we maybe broke a couple of valve springs or something, and the thing kind of started getting soft up in the top RPM range. But, you know, Ernie was tough. He ran me hard. He ran me clean. It was a great race. Steve Mill and that Roush team made the difference today. I couldn't have done it without them cranking out those great pit stops and making the great calls.
Well, you made some adjustments on the car all day, and really going into the race this morning, Steve told me you really weren't that excited about your chances.
We had no idea how the car was going to work, and I guess being blind is just about as good as coming and testing. You know, we didn't have a chance to mess the car up today, so it worked well. We put a round in and a couple rounds out. You know, we're just right there. It worked. It worked good, but like I say, the race team made the difference today, not the car.
Well, I think the driver had something to do with that. Congratulations to Mark, Jack Roush, and Steve Mill, everybody at Roush Racing. Ralph?
New daughter Jordan joining her father down here by their trailer. Was it the tires that kept you from getting Mark?
No, it was that Mark Martin was keeping me from getting Mark. You know, Mark drove a heck of a race. You know, he just drove the wheels off. I drove the wheels off ours, and it was just a little short. So, you know, it was a good run for the Texaco Haviland Ford Thunderbird, and you know, guys did a great job in the pits, and it was just a little short. You know, we'd like to have some more laps to try to get it, but the race is what it is, and hats off to Mark.
Ernie Irvan. Irvan, 7th in the Winston Cup points after today. There's Earnhardt, 126 ahead of Rusty Wallace. Mark Martin, highest he can finish in the points is 3rd now. Dale Jarrett, best he can do is 4th. Morgan Shepherd up to 5th. Kyle Petty, Ernie Irvan, Ken Schrader, Bill Elliott, Ricky Rudd. That's your top 10 in the Winston Cup standings. Brought to you by Craftsman Tools, a line of 1,600 hand tools, made in America, guaranteed forever. Today's order of finish. Mark Martin, the winner. Ernie Irvan, 2nd. Kyle Petty, 3rd. Dale Earnhardt and Bill Elliott, the top 5. Ricky Rudd was 6th. Darrell Waltrip, 7th. Bobby Labonte, 8th. Mike Waltrip and Rick Maz, the top 10. Then Morgan Shepherd, 11th. Harry Gant, Lake Speed, Terry Labonte, and Ted Musgrave. Dale Jarrett, Kenny Wallace, Bobby Hillen, Rusty Wallace, and Rick Wilson were the top 20 today. For Buddy Baker, Neil Bonnet, Glenn Jarrett, and Ralph Shaheen. I'm Mike Joy, congratulating Mark Martin on his victory here in Phoenix. We'll talk to you next week from Hickory, North Carolina, and the final Busch short track race of the season. All of us at TNN have enjoyed putting Winston Cup racing live on television for your enjoyment all season long. So long from Phoenix, everybody.